the magician in the world of Doraemon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 501, Fight to the Death. The best way to upgrade everyone's firepower is to upgrade the props, and they just happen to have such a prop. The two childlike robots immediately put their hands in their pockets. Look at our luxury lamp. A prop similar to a flashlight was taken out by them, and the light was shone on each prop. As long as it is illuminated by this light, no matter what it is, it will become very luxurious, and this thing is permanent. The caliber of the shrinking lamp in Nobita's hand increased by one size, and the handle of the lamp was also made of pure platinum. The price has risen by who knows how many levels. The tranquilizer guns and air cannons in the hands of others also became golden, and there was an energy storage device on the outside to greatly increase the power of the bullets. The surface of the Dodge cloak first turned into bright silver, and then the color of the cloak could no longer be seen. Both sides of the cloak turned into a starry sky, and all the energy shining on it was bounced back. Everyone looked at their props excitedly. These things changed from the original white panels to the golden legendary level in a blink of an eye. They are indeed luxury lamps. Doraemon looked at the excited people around him. His expression was not relaxed at all. Everyone listen. Although our props are all upgraded now, we still can't take it lightly. That's right, our enemy is a planet of monsters. If we lose, we and our homeland behind us will disappear. Doraemon stood on the edge of the magic carpet with a Dodge cloak and a super large pistol. She was responsible for protecting everyone's safety and output at the same time. Then now, we will go. Dr. Manu was in the cab below, manipulating the magic carpet to actively attack the Demon King. This magic carpet was also illuminated by the luxurious lights, and now its performance has been greatly improved. The speed is so fast that the demons can't see their shadows at all. Then let me go first. Fat Tiger picked up the air cannon in his hand and fired the first shot of the battle at the demons in the distance. The energy gathering device around the air cannon lit up, and the surrounding light seemed to gather in the air cannon. After a short period of energy storage, a huge light bomb hit the first demon at a speed that was difficult to capture with the naked eye, smashing it into powder on the spot. Then the shells were divided into 3 smaller shells, which accurately hit the 3 enemies behind them. Although the size was smaller, the power of the shells was still huge, and each shell smashed a dragon into pieces. This scene boosted everyone's morale. Yes, that's it. Fat Tiger, Nobita, Sunia, you 3 hide behind us and attack. Doraemon held the Dodge cloak and shouted in front, we will never let you get hurt. While speaking, Doraemon used his Dodge cloak to push back a dragon's breath, turning the dragon that spit out the dragon's breath and the demon general above into cosmic dust. Facts have proved that their shooting talent is indeed very high, and the upgraded weapons also have an automatic aiming function. The army of the demon world suffered heavy casualties under their attack. But after fighting for a long time, the number of the demon world's army has not decreased at all, which makes them a little desperate. Doraemon once again bounced off a dragon's breath. Now they are a little tired, but those troops are still coming in an endless stream. What's going on? Aren't these demon soldiers afraid of death? They still dare to come after so many of their companions have died. Nobita once again killed a monster with the lethal gun, a deluxe upgraded version of the shotgun, and began to complain to his teammates about his dissatisfaction. The Demon King was also a little impatient. Now the earth was in front of him. If he didn't destroy them, his plan would be hindered. What a trouble. Kingdom stretched out his hand, and an invisible force instantly filled the entire battlefield. Stars, turn into the god of death for me, and take away all their lives. The surrounding meteorites came alive at this moment, and countless malicious eyes were aimed at the people on the magic carpet, which made them feel unwell. Then, black flames suddenly rose on the surface of the stars. From the outside, they looked like small demon stars, which made them shudder. The Demon King gave his power to the meteorites, turning them temporarily into semicolons of demon stars to snipe Nobita and others. When everyone was stunned, the star closest to them suddenly moved, and the sound of sharp whistles echoed in their ears, almost making everyone lose their fighting spirit. Stars rushed towards them quickly, and the flames on the surface of the meteorite continued to rise. As long as they were touched, they would be burned to ashes without any suspense. No, this sound actually contains a soul attack. Dr. Manu hurriedly controlled the magic carpet in the cab to turn to avoid these monsters. Miyako, use the magic lion heart to make them fight. Got it, father. Miyako received the news and hurriedly waved a few golden lights at their feet to dispel the negative state of the mind. Be careful, those of you who don't have enough magic skills can easily be invaded by the negative emotions in the stars. Doraemon and others nodded, and then continued to destroy the stars and dragons in the sky, to minimize the number of demons. And the eyes of the priest Manu were full of red bloodshot, trying his best to calculate the trajectory of each star, and continue this war, that he didn't know when to end. What's going on? Why haven't those people come yet? I'm almost on my way back to Earth. Yu and Dazi yawned as he sat on the moon. He had been waiting for those people to come for a long time. It's really strange. Could it be that they haven't returned to the moon yet? But according to their speed, they shouldn't be. He originally wanted to wait for those people to come and take a photo with them, but Nobita and the others didn't come. What Yu and Dazi didn't know was that Nobita and the others had completely given up the decision to come to the moon to destroy the Demon King's heart because they no longer had silver darts. Boy, don't sleep now. The soul-devouring monument suddenly woke him up. Those children are fighting the Demon King's army. Go and help. Just now, the soul-devouring monument noticed the energy fluctuations coming from afar, so it emitted its mental power to explore the situation outside. Then he saw the children fighting the Demon King's army, and then looked at Yu and Dazi with a look of disappointment. They are both children. Why doesn't this guy have any enthusiasm to save the world? What? They are finally here. I almost fell asleep waiting here. Yu and Dazi didn't know the situation of those people, so he was leisurely here. It just so happens that I want to give a small gift to the demon world to repay their life-saving grace. The dark star cloak instantly appeared behind him, and he rushed to the direction indicated by the soul-devouring monument with King Yu. Nobita and the others were still struggling to resist the demons. At this moment, an extremely shining light shot from behind the demons. Everyone, look, what is that? Miyako stared at the light behind her, looking very nervous. Could it be the reinforcement of the demons? The light beam stopped at the area where the demon army was most concentrated and turned into a sphere emitting soft light. Nobita and the others' hearts sank instantly. Looking at this posture, it seemed that they were really reinforcement of the demons, so they were in danger. The demons also looked at the light ball behind them curiously. Why didn't they remember that one of their generals could use this kind of magic? At this moment, the ball of light suddenly emitted a large number of extremely penetrating beams, and many nearby demon knights were shot into sieves by the light spots before they had time to react. Nobita and the others felt that this scene was very familiar, but they were still a little uncertain. This ball of light, could it be that magic? From your tone, could it be a friendly force? Miyako and Doraemon looked at them curiously, because they really didn't know that anyone could use this magic. It can't be wrong. This ball of light seems to be Yu and Dazi's magic scattered aura. He used this trick to save us on the snowy mountain before. Sure enough, after the scattered aura cleared the field, a black phantom rushed over from behind and quickly approached them using the vacuum zone created just now. Sorry, I was delayed because I encountered a very strong enemy. As soon as the voice fell, Yu and Dazi stood steadily on the magic carpet. Seeing Yu and Dazi coming back, several children immediately surrounded him. Great, Yu and Dazi, you are not dead yet. Where is your dart? Take it out quickly to save lives. If he still had the silver dart on him, then they could change their mindset and end the war directly. Chapter 502 The Decisive Moment. Yu and Dazi was confused by this question. Are you talking about silver darts? Don't you have any left? Dakshin nodded and continued anxiously. Yes, we shot all of them at the Demon King before, but it didn't work. Wait, what do you think? Yu and Dazi nodded helplessly. He now knew why those guys gave up going to the moon directly. It turned out that they had no props. So what should we do now? Is it just a head-on fight with them? How long will it take? Yu and Dazi reluctantly took out his staff and prepared for the battle. If he had known what would happen, he would have kept the last silver dart on him and didn't need to use it for the experiment. At this moment, King Guy beside him suddenly said, "The silver dart you are talking about, is it the thing that was distributed at Action's house before?" Everyone nodded, and then Yu and as he suddenly remembered that King Guy seemed to have also been distributed a silver dart at that time. "King Guy, do you have another one?" He immediately rushed over and took out a silver dart from his pocket. Seeing this scene, the people on the magic carpet instantly felt at ease. Since there is still one prop left, then this adventure is safe. Miyako immediately shouted from below, "Dad, there is still one silver dart left by Arneadis. Let's go to the heart of the Demon King now." "Okay. Children, sit down and don't be thrown out by my sharp turn." The full moon priest below exerted his magic power to the fullest, and the speed of the magic carpet instantly increased to a high level. He didn't have much time now. Driving the magic carpet for so long, he had to pay attention to the situation in all directions at all times. The pressure was greater than that of other people present, and his spirit was already exhausted. But now that he has found hope, it will be okay to hold on for the last period of time. The magic carpet zigzags towards the blood moon. During this period, they continued to kill the demons, which made King Dimmer feel a little heartbroken. Those were the tools he wanted to use to rule the earth. "Damn you, it seems that I still have to take action myself to kill you. Wait, that direction can't be." King Dimmer immediately realized their purpose. In front of that road was the heart he placed on the surface of the planet. "Assholes, do your best to stop them. If anyone can kill a human, I will transfer magic energy to them." The surrounding demons immediately went crazy. If they were passive before, now they are a group of hungry wolves. They need to eat flesh and blood to survive. The density of dragon breath around them became more intense, and attack magic continued to pour in. Doraemon and Doraemon kept waving their dodge cloaks, exhausted. Some even used their bodies to block the route of the magic carpet, but all of them were ruthlessly killed by Yu and Dazuki. The soul-devouring monument suddenly said, "Don't waste the souls here, come and help me." Seeing such a dense density of monsters, Yu and as he raised the Archangel's staff, level 3 soul magic, soul sacrifice. The moment he finished reciting the spell, Yu and as his mental power was extracted by more than half, which was used as the price of releasing this magic. Of course, he knew that using this magic now would definitely be a sure win business. The invisible force field quickly opened up, and the souls of all the demons and dragons covered by the barrier all ignited invisible flames, and eventually turned into new spiritual power, and flowed into Yu and Daz's sea of consciousness. As the stop soul-devouring monument that activated his magic, it shared the power with him. Seeing this man slaughtering his subordinates, the Demon King could no longer sit still, and could only drive the dragon below to speed up, and crash into them again. Seeing the Demon King's exasperated look, Yu and Dazi chuckled, "Humph, it seems that you are only this fast. I must be faster than you." He continued to clear the obstacles in the air with one hand, and place the other hand on the magic carpet below. Second level magic, Wind Walk. When Yu and Daz's complete magic power covered the magic carpet, the dragons around him could no longer see their shadows. What? It can actually burst out at such a fast speed. The Demon King behind him was scared. That guy was simply cheating. The speed of the magic carpet increased 5 times. Even the Dragon King was not qualified to eat dust, let alone him. Soon, everyone flew to the moon surface of the Demon Realm star. The sound of a beating heart could be heard faintly in the blood moon. After careful observation, they found that the grooves on the moon looked like blood vessels of the heart, which looked a bit weird. Dakshin and the others also noticed this, and they were relieved. Great, it seems that the moon is its heart. Stop it, you guys. I give up on conquering the earth. As long as you agree, I will leave now. The Demon King behind him finally began to fear. He could clearly feel that they now had the power to destroy him. And as he took out the silver dart and handed it to Dakshin standing next to him, "This last shot, I'll give it to you who has the best shooting." Dakshin solemnly took the dart. "Don't worry, I will definitely not let you down." Seeing that Jiang actually gave this task to Dakshin, the others were a little puzzled. "Why do you want to give this task to him? Are you very confident?" "Nonsense, isn't the last time playing the sharpshooter game enough to prove that he has the best shooting?" And as he looked, as if it was a matter of course. Dakshin also remembered it, and immediately patted his chest and assured, "Yes, I successfully defeated all of you last time in the sharpshooter. Have you forgotten?" The others looked puzzled. What exactly is the sharpshooter game? Why don't they have any impression at all? And as he ignored the others, and reminded him seriously, "Remember, you only have one chance. If you fail." If he failed, the soul-devouring monument would forcibly eat the soul of this demon king. Now Ling Feng's condition is much better. He has eaten a lot of souls. Now that the world has been restored to an undestroyed state, he can also eat it, but there is a high probability of failure, so the old man is not willing to take risks. If they can succeed, Ling Feng can directly eat the world will that they destroyed, which is of course better for him. Dakshin took a deep breath to calm his excited mood. Although there is only one chance, he believes that his most proud shooting will never fail. Picking up the last silver dart, Dakshin stared at the blood moon in front of him, and began to stabilize his hands. The demon king behind him finally entered the effective range of his magic, and he breathed a sigh of relief. This time he might not lose. "Damn it, you bastards. Since you want to kill me, then you go die first." Soul-destroying Hell Thunder. He used his fastest single attack spell without hesitation. The power of this attack was definitely much stronger than the previous attack on them. "Sorry, you're too late." And as he waved his hand and took off his black cloak to block the lightning, and Dakshin behind him had already thrown his dart at the bloody cold moon. Chapter 503 Treatment Method. The soul-destroying Hell Thunder bombarded the Dark Star Cloak, and the usually indestructible cloak was blown away, and the lightning still headed for the flying carpet. Oh my god, so hard to stop. And as he reached into Doraemon's pocket without saying a word, "Look at my great shift of the universe." As soon as he finished speaking, he took out an already opened arbitrary door from Doraemon's pocket, and pointed the door at the lightning that was speeding on. At this time, the scene on the other side of the arbitrary door was a back figure standing on the dragon. It was the Demon King. "Nani?" The Demon King looked behind him in disbelief. A pink door was quietly open, and black lightning was approaching rapidly. Ah! The lightning struck the Demon King, and he was caught off guard, and temporarily lost his mind, and there was no way to chase him. At this time, the dart was very close to the demon star, and at this time, Doraemon took out the magnifying glass at the right time, injected a new world will into the dart, and the giant dart slowly approached his heart. And as he blocked the soul-destroying Hell Thunder, and turned his head to watch this historic scene, but he didn't know if it would drift again this time. No. The devil stared at the silver dart that was getting closer and closer to his heart. This was the first time in his endless years that he felt death was so close to him. Now he was not in the demon realm star, and temporarily lost control of his heart. There was no way to change this. The silver dart hit the moon as expected. This time there was no obstacle, and it pierced deeply into the devil's heart. Ah! The moon, which originally emitted a faint red light, darkened, and the devil also let out a shrill roar. The king's death cry resounded in the starry sky. Everyone could clearly feel his pain, and those who heard it couldn't help but feel pity. And as he saw this scene, and felt a little bit reluctant, "I'm so sorry, although you helped me before. This time it's a battle of survival." The core representing the will of the world was destroyed, and the devil's heart lost its vitality, and gradually turned into a stone from the place where the dart pierced. At this time, the soul-devouring monument also took action, taking away some of the damaged fragments of the world's will to replenish his spiritual power, which was always in a state of dryness. The petrified moon could no longer resist the gravity of the demon world star and quickly crashed into the demon world star below. With a vibration that was enough to tear apart the space, the demon world star completely collapsed not far from the earth, and the origin of the world exploded. These dissipated energies are harmless to humans, but those demons are dissolved by the power of the origin, and turned into new origins for the human world to absorb. And as he reached out, and touched the scattered origins, and sighed, "The collapse of every world is an incomparable beauty." At this moment, the Dark Star Cloak and the Archangel Staff flew out of and Az's hands, and began to absorb these scattered powers. Waves of joy continued to spread to and Az's sea of consciousness, as if these things were very helpful to their evolution. He did not stop these things from happening. Anyway, they were all absorbed, so it didn't matter who absorbed them. Moreover, after experiencing this battle, he had a greater obsession with improving his strength. It was always good to be able to enhance his strength. If he met an enemy of Easton's level again, he didn't want to be helpless in front of him. So Yu and Dazi also joined the ranks of absorbing the origin. These energies were very pure and easier to absorb than natural forces. After he absorbed a small part, he suddenly said to King Gyu, you also absorb these origins. They are of great help to improve your physical strength. The white world origin gradually dissipated, and most of it was absorbed by the main world in the future world. They only grabbed a small part. But just this point, Yu and Daz's magic storage reached the standard of the 10th seal, and he could be promoted at any time. Moreover, his physical strength has also improved a lot, and his physical strength has increased by about 50%, which has made another major breakthrough. The most important and obscure thing is that his originally depleted life origin has also been replenished, which makes the soul-devouring monument very happy. If he is getting weaker and weaker because of insufficient life origin, how can a sickly person fight against those gods? Okay, now our trip to the demon world is completely successful, and we should go back and have a good sleep. And as he stretched lazily, he was extremely tired now. Being beaten into a coma on the moon was much worse than sleeping on his own. King Gyu was in the same boat. He also wanted to go back and have a good sleep now. His brother was in a coma for a while, but he didn't get any rest at all. Just when everyone thought it was a happy ending, Nobita suddenly said, "Wait a minute, there's one person we seem to have forgotten." Everyone on the magic carpet reacted immediately. Oh no, Demotion seems to be still in a coma. Yuan-kun, the rest is up to you. Huh? You said Mushin is in a coma? Or on the moon? His heart, which had been relieved, was suspended again. He had experienced so many things, but he actually forgot this important thing. Yes, now is not the time to talk about this. Everyone who remembered this was anxious. I don't know why Izuku was sealed in the crystal. You should go and have a look. Yu and Dazi finally came back to his senses from the shock. Where is Izuku sealed? Take me to see. But if Izuku is still alive, it means that Manasan is dead, which is good news. The two gods died completely, telling them how powerful the gods are, and also sounding the alarm for them. Even such powerful people will die one day. No life is eternal, even those gods who are high above. The full moon priest below once again took a deep breath and drove his magic carpet to the previous place. Nobita suddenly poked Doraemon. Do you think Yu and Dazi is a little strange? Yes, I always feel that his emotions seem to be much weaker now, and he lacks some humanity compared to before. The two exchanged glances and felt that this guy seemed to have some problems now. Not long after, they stood on the moon crystal layer, and below them was the body of Izuku. Alas, Izuku was beaten into this state. It seems that it was the work of that Manasan. Yu and Dazi did not rush to take him out, but used the detection technique to carefully feel his condition. What's going on? His vitality is almost gone, and it is still disappearing. He immediately activated the law of life to feel his current state, but found that the life wheel of Izuku's body was broken at this time, which meant that he was almost hopeless, just like Lanshu at the beginning. It seems that Manasan has killed him once, but his soul does not seem to dissipate, and his body seems to have been treated for emergencies. Taking back his own life law, he began to ask the soul-devouring monument, "Old man, do you have any good way to repair the wheel of life?" Ling Feng began to search his memory. Fortunately, he is a spiritualist, and his wheel of life has not completely dissipated. The difficulty of treating him is not much different from that of treating ordinary people. If it were another practitioner, I would really have no way. The first method is to sacrifice a large number of creatures whose lives have not yet reached the end, and use other people's lives in exchange for his life. Of course, the creatures that need to be sacrificed in this method are not limited to humans. The second method is for you to break through to the 4th level magician in a short period of time, and then you can use time magic to treat humans with broken wheel of life. But according to my estimation, even if you break through, the limit of time reversal is only about 2 days. It seems impossible for you to jump to levels in this time. Make a decision as soon as possible. If the soul, which is most important to the spiritualist, is also dissipated, then you really can't save people. At this time, Yu and Dazi began to feel Mushan's soul, and found that his soul was slowly dissipating, because it had no body to support it. Even if some emergency measures were taken, it would not last for a few days, if it continued to dissipate at this rate. If you say so, I actually have no choice. A magic power cut off the crystal several meters wide around it, then I will take his body, to find some good sacrifices. A wise method. The old man used his mental power to protect Mushan's soul and slow down his dissipation speed. After making a decision, the two men flew towards the earth with the huge yellow crystal. Chapter 504 Resurgence. So many things should be enough, right? Yu and Dazi looked at the large group of creatures on the seabed, and asked the soul-devouring monument in the sea of consciousness. The old man thought for a while before answering. It should be enough. This child's body is much worse than yours, so there is no need to offer too many sacrifices. After getting his affirmative answer, Yu and Dazi clasped his hands together, and the blood-red magic pattern spread out under his feet. And his mental power also spread out, catching all the nearby fish, to prevent them from running away. After a while, the magic pattern was laid out in the predetermined way, and Yu and Dazi placed the crystal with Chumushan's body in the center of the magic pattern. It's ready, kid. Remember to feel the process later. This process of reshaping the dead life is naturally a manifestation of the law of life. Of course, he will not let Yu and Dazi miss this opportunity. Speaking of which, Chumushan and King Gayu actually died once in this great adventure in the demon world. There was such a big sacrifice. Yu and Dazi shook his head silently in his heart. He was still not strong enough. If he could defeat the Demon King directly at that time, then these things would not have happened. King Gayu would not be left on the moon and his soul would be annihilated by the old man, and Chumushan would not have become like this. You don't have to blame yourself. The old man saw that his mental state was not good, so he decided to comfort his injured heart. Although the Demon King is not much stronger than these gods, his body is the embodiment of the will of the world. If you want to defeat it, you must have the ability to destroy that world. As for those high gods, every god who has accepted the throne is at least a 4th level magician, an existence beyond the limitations of the world. With your current ability, it is normal that you can't beat them. You have to wait until you become a magician and transcend the limitations of the world before you are qualified to have an equal dialogue with them. Yu and Dazi nodded, without dwelling on this topic for too long, and began to stimulate his magic power to activate the magic circle, chanting at the same time, "Mother of Life, I offer this sacrifice with great respect, and ask you to bestow your grace and let this tired body be reborn." The surrounding fish suddenly became restless. They felt that their lives were being slowly stripped away. This process was the greatest torture. It's not that the process is painful, but they will feel their bodies and senses weakening little by little, and eventually fall into endless darkness. The despair brought to them by this process is even greater than the pain. The fish within a few kilometers around are constantly peeling off white life energy, which begins to gather in Izuku's body to repair his life wheel. So many lives have been sacrificed, and the total energy should be more than 1,000 times that of Izuku. It seems that it is enough. The soul-devouring monument used its mental power to feel the situation in the magic circle, and only after confirming that it was safe did it completely put its mind at ease. The exchange of life is never equal, and all life energy transmission is lossy. This is the law of nature. This kind of life form that is lower than humans wants to use it to repair the life wheel, and the energy absorption efficiency is shockingly low. It is a blessing to be able to absorb one part out of 1,000. If it is a life of the same level, it will take dozens of times more energy to save a person whose life wheel is broken and whose soul is not dispersed. As for the part that escaped, whether it was absorbed by the so-called target of sacrifice, the mother of life, or escaped, no one can tell. Yu and Dazi was fully devoted to the perception, trying to gain more benefits in the process, and enhance his strength. After an unknown amount of time, the old man reminded him, "It's done. The child's life wheel is intact, and his soul can return to his body for nourishment." Now Chumushan has not woken up yet, only his body is intact, and his soul is still trapped on the moon. Chumushan's soul is attached to the crystal, and even the old man dare not act on his own, so he just helped to slow down the escape speed. The Dark Star Cloak wrapped them again, and used the power of space to teleport to the moon, and then they began to look for Chumushan's soul. When Yu and Dazi came to the place where Chumushan's body was just now, he withdrew his mental power after a while with a puzzled look on his face. How is it, old man? Did you find Chumushan's soul? Why is it not within my detection range? What? You can't find it? It shouldn't be. The soul-devouring monument then opened his mental power to search, and after a while, the old man withdrew his mental power, showing great surprise. It's only been one day since we last met, and he has completely transcended his physical limitations. No wonder he can defeat Manuson alone. It seems that this kid, Chumushan, is much more talented in mental power than you. The voice of the soul-devouring monument appeared in Yu and Daz's ears, making him feel a little indignant. What do you mean? That is to say, if the current Chumushan is converted into a magician, he is already a 4th level great magician. Boy, you are far behind him. What? Yu and Dazi was shocked instantly. Chumushan's talent was too good. So it turns out that cultivating mental power is so easy? If you had said it earlier, why would I still be a magician? I might as well cultivate mental power with him. Yu and Dazi regrets it now. If he had cultivated mental power from the beginning, he would definitely be much more powerful than he is now. Don't even think about it. Your physical talent is not bad, but the strength of your soul. I'm not trying to discourage you. You don't even have the qualifications to enter. The soul-devouring monument stated the fact ruthlessly. Your soul was originally the soul of a dead person. After traveling through time and possession, it is extremely fragile, even weaker than a child, so I will protect you and let your memory return bit by bit. If you still wanted to practice telekinesis at that time, I guess you would have collapsed because of the problem of your soul as soon as you started practicing. And it's not that easy for Dekisugi to grow up. Have you forgotten that when he just started practicing, he almost died in his own hands? Okay, I know I can't argue with you. And as he is too lazy to argue with him now you should quickly focus on his soul. Let's save him first. TSK, you think of me now? The soul-devouring monument teased him, while accurately finding the will hidden in the crystal of Dekisugi bit by bit, and then splicing it into a complete soul. After the old man Ling plundered all the magic crystals nearby, he barely restored his soul completely. What's going on? Why is there so much difference? He looked at the pitted soul and asked the soul-devouring monument. Yes, these are all on this planet. The missing parts should be lost in the fight with the Demon King and Madison. Although the will of the Demon King, left in Medusa, is not strong, it is not weak. And his current state does not seem to be right, so it is like this. Yu and Dazi nodded and worked with the old man to put the broken soul of Izuki into his body, standing by and waiting for him to wake up. More than half an hour later, a strong energy fluctuation suddenly came from a distance, and the rules of the world returned to their original state again. The ground under their feet also became the original state. There was no magic crystal on the ground, and the magic circle disappeared. It seems that the great adventure in the demon world has completely ended. There are too many things we have experienced this time. I hope no one will die next time. Yu and Dazi quickly threw out his cloak, forming a barrier to block the two people and block the last air, and he clasped his hands together and prayed beside him, hoping that Izuki would wake up earlier. At this moment, Dekisugi, who was lying on the ground, finally opened his eyes suddenly. With the nourishment of his body and the stimulation of the changes in the world's rules, he finally regained his consciousness completely. Chapter 505 Return Home. Yu and Dazhi, who was standing nearby, saw that Chumushan had woken up and hurried over to help him up. How are you? Are you feeling unwell? Chumushan shook his head with difficulty. He was mainly lacking in mental power, but he had no physical problems. The soul-devouring monument extended its mental power and began to replenish Chumushan's dry sea of consciousness. Now that he had enough energy, he didn't need to be too frugal. After a while, Chumushan's mental power recovered by 60%, and he was completely free from the negative state caused by insufficient mental power. It's okay now. Chumushan stood up by himself. My luck is really good. I was almost killed by that Dima Wang. After seeing that he was fine, Yu and Azhi also breathed a sigh of relief and then asked him what happened. What happened to you after we left? Shouldn't you be sleeping at home? Why did you suddenly run to the moon? The night after you left, I always felt that I shouldn't just care about my parents. I should try my best to do something. So I made a spaceship myself to go find you. At this point, Izuku suddenly clapped his hands. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot that you haven't taken back the somersault cloud you gave me before. In order to provide energy for his spaceship, he used the somersault cloud as the energy core of the spaceship, but ended up forgetting it on the wreckage of the spaceship. There was nothing he could do about it. After all, he met Madison before he had time to start the acceleration engine after flying out of the Earth. After that, he kept fighting and sleeping, and had no time or ability to recover the wreckage of the spaceship. Chumashin stretched out his mental power, and then he was stunned. Where is the wreckage of my spaceship? How come it disappeared? The soul-eating monument suddenly spoke. The wreckage you mentioned seemed to have been classified into the useless column when the world rules changed just now, and it was cleared. What? Chumashin's mood suddenly fell to the bottom. That was the birthday gift given to him by Yu and Daisuke. Then why didn't you stop it from decomposing? That thing is very important. The old man was also helpless. How do I know there is a somersault cloud in it? Did you tell me? Seeing that the two were about to quarrel, Yu and Daisuke quickly mediated. Forget it. It's just a cloud. Why bother to quarrel over it? Anyway, it's gone. Chumashin sighed. I'm sorry, the 2 gifts you gave me were all destroyed this time. It's okay. Aren't you still alive now? Then those 2 things have played their value. At this time, the old man spoke again. It's not necessarily completely decomposed. There seems to be an interesting thing left there. After speaking, the soul-devouring monument used his mental power to collect the strange things left on the ground, but found that what was left was a mechanical cube. What is this? Chumashin used his mental power to feel this strange cube, but found that it seemed to have formed a perfect energy cycle. The old man could only speculate about this thing. The energy in it is very similar to the energy of the previous somersault cloud. Could it be that the somersault cloud was mutated after being affected by an unknown influence and became a technological product equivalent to the somersault cloud? Forget it, since it's like this anyway. Let's go back and study it. After putting away the things, Chumashin continued. After I flew into space, I felt a burst of mental power on the moon, so I rushed over to check it out. Oh, by the way, aren't we on the moon? Why can we still breathe? Chumashin suddenly noticed this strange phenomenon. Ian and as he waved his hand, and a layer of light suddenly appeared around him. This is now my magic barrier, which preserves the necessary air. Oh, that's it. Zayanishin cleared his throat and continued. When I went there, King Gaio had been killed by an old man, so I fought with that old man. But his spiritual power was far superior to mine, and my body was also damaged at that time. But it was a blessing in disguise, and I completely comprehended the transcendent state, and killed the old man with my last spiritual power, but I was at the end of my rope. At that time, I knew that I would die if I didn't do something. So in order to continue to live, I had to devour the remaining souls of Madison. What a crazy move. The soul-devouring monument gave its own evaluation. Devouring other people's souls in that situation is no different from seeking death. If the luck is a little worse, then their souls may be entangled together to form a brand new one, and it is the kind that can never be separated. How could I not know the consequences? Chumashin sighed, but fortunately, I succeeded, and at the same time I also learned some extraordinary things. The existence of the temple. The one person and one monument present immediately became nervous. They took up most of the credit for the trouble this adventure had become. Yes, the temple. In order not to leak information, the old man desperately destroyed most of his memories, so I had the opportunity. But now I don't know much. There is very little information obtained from his soul fragments. We only know that the person who sent them out is the strongest god of the gods, the sun god. Moreover, most of the gods were injured in a civil war many years ago, and now most of the gods are in a state of sleep and recuperation. Yu and Daisuke nodded. From the perspective of the enemy, this is good news for them. After absorbing the soul of Madison, my consciousness recovered a little, and then Medusa came to me. As you can see, I helped her expel the contract left by the Demon King on her soul, but I also completely lost consciousness. After hearing his words, Yu and Dazzy did not expect that this person who could have gotten through this incident the easiest actually paid so much, and he couldn't help but sigh. Forget it, this trip to the demon world is over. Yu and Dazzy went over and patted him on the shoulder. Now we are all alive. At this point, Izuki was a little depressed. It's a pity that Kingayu died, and I couldn't save him. After that, Zyadishin used his mental power to sweep the surrounding environment, and in the end it didn't even leave a corpse. Yu and Dazzy smiled and said nothing, summoned the Dark Star Cloak, and flew back to the house below with him. Now his house is the same as when he left, and the little devil is still waiting for them to come back at the door. Seeing Yu and Dazzy appear at the door, it yawned and then fell asleep on the ground. He hadn't rested since they left, and faithfully carried out the orders left by his master. It looks much better now. Chumushin went over and touched Ziozi's head. He liked these little animals very much. The little devil impatiently shook his pointed tail. Kyumi. He called softly to express his dissatisfaction. Then he turned his face to the side, not wanting to pay attention to Chumushin. It's not a dog, and it won't be happy if someone touches its head. Okay, Yinkei, Ziozi doesn't seem to like you very much, so don't force him. Yu and Dazzy pulled Chumushin into the room. Kingayu, why don't you come out to greet us? Kingayu, who was practicing magic upstairs, agreed, and then trotted to the door. What do you want me to do? Now that he has experienced the great adventure in the demon world, he clearly realizes his weakness, so he also needs to improve his strength as soon as possible. Chumushin looked at Kingayu standing in front of him, and immediately ran over to hug him. Great, I thought you were dead. Kingayu had no idea what was going on, but seeing that Chumushin was so happy, he just stood there and let him hug him. Okay, Yinkei. Yu and Dazzy went over and pulled him away. There will be plenty of time to hug you in the future. It's only early morning now, so you should go to bed early. Only then did Chumushin calm down his excitement, and the three of them went upstairs to rest together. They were really tired after this adventure. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 506 Exposed. The next morning, Dekisugi woke up early again, but this time he was at Yu and Daz's house instead of his own. He had said hello to his parents last night, so it would be troublesome to go home now, so he just stayed here. When he went downstairs, he found that Yu and Dazzy had already brought breakfast to the living room, waiting for him to come down to eat. You are still up so early as usual. Dekisugi walked to Daz's side and started to eat the breakfast he prepared. It's just a habit. Yu and Dazzy was watching the program on TV. At this time, Dr. Manu was refuting the rumor. Don't worry, everyone. After verification, we found that the unidentified planet is just a welcome. At this time, they were discussing the unidentified planet discovered some time ago, and now the asteroid has disappeared. After getting their news, Yu and Dazzy was relieved. Their action was indeed successful. However, this can also prove from the side that, if the impact caused by the telephone booth can indeed be brought to the real world, it is not a completely parallel world. Therefore, from this point of view, it is more accurate to say that if the telephone booth is to change the rules of the world than to create a parallel world. Very good. It seems that our previous efforts have not been in vain, but I don't want to take such an adventure again. It's too dangerous. Just as Yu and Dazzy was sighing that they had saved the world again, another piece of news suddenly caught his attention. According to reports, a vicious attack occurred in the department store yesterday afternoon, resulting in the death of a large number of civilians. Yu and Dazzy pricked up his ears instantly. He was very sensitive to this kind of news. Could it be that guided it again? The development of the matter was as expected. It was the old swordsman who killed people for sacrifice. Now the development of the matter has become very serious. After thinking for a while, Yu and as he had to seek help from the soul-devouring monument in his sea of consciousness. Old man, do you have any good suggestions on this? I suggest you kill that man as soon as possible. It is conservatively estimated that hundreds of people died in that department store. His desire for strength is too strong. Although the old man spoke seriously, he was not very worried. But don't be too anxious, because he can only stop at level 4 at most, and he is the weakest at the same level. Relying solely on sacrificing lives, without any understanding of the laws and luck, not only is the strength low, but there is basically no possibility of further progress. After getting the old man's affirmation, Yu and as he was not very anxious. Anyway, he would be able to break through to level 4 soon. By the way, old man, I will soon enter level 4. Is there anything I need to pay attention to during this process? I should have told you after you engraved the 10th seal, but it doesn't matter if I tell you earlier. Your current understanding of the laws is more than enough to support you to reach level 4, and there will be no big problem in breaking through. But when you break through level 4, you will feel the universe, and then the laws of the universe will be open to you. You should try to strive for this. The law of time can coordinate your engraved past and future. The law of the sky can also be sublimated into the law of space, and the law of the sun can be tried to be integrated into the stars. In the most ideal state, you should be able to free up 2 law positions, and then engrave the laws of the ocean and death, and you should be able to try to master this world. So it can be done this way. Wait, what did you say just now? And as he suddenly came to his senses, control the world? Are you kidding? I'm not kidding. You will understand the reason when you are strong enough. Controlling this world will be of great help in dealing with the plan of the gods. The soul-devouring monument was unwilling to stay on this topic and continued to talk to himself. When you enter the 4th level, your soul will be able to feel the universe. This is your chance to advance the law. How much you can do depends on how strong your understanding is. After saying this, he disappeared without a trace. No matter how Yu and as he called out, there was no response. TSK, this guy's style is still the same as before. Yu and as he sighed secretly, forget it, let's wait until the weekend. After washing the dishes and putting them back, Yu and as he carried his school bag and prepared to start today's boring life. As for the newly subdued demon Ziozi, they left him to continue to watch the house. As for King Gyu, he really didn't know what to do with it now. His identity was too sensitive. Yu and as he was lucky, he now had at least a human protection layer, but if King Gyu met those so-called gods, he would definitely be like the god this time. The hatred between the two would definitely end until death. He hoped to find a way to protect him. But now King Gyu is willing to take the initiative to practice physical skills and cultivate demonic power. This change makes Soul Devourer feel relieved. He finally got it. These few days can also spare time to create a technique for the little devil so that the child can also become a combat force. It would be a pity if the pet that already has a 3rd level combat power is not improved. The two of them came to school together and waited quietly in their seats for the teacher to come to class. After a while, Nobita came to the classroom and saw Izuki, so he took the initiative to ask, "Classmate Izuki, how did you get sealed in the crystal on the moon last time?" This matter has troubled him for a long time, so he wants to find Izuki to ask clearly, instead of being kept in the dark. Zayanishin touched his head. I thought about it for a long time yesterday, and I still felt that I shouldn't let you face the Demon King alone, so I wanted to chase you. But I happened to meet the enemy on the moon, so I fought with them. Although I was sealed in the crystal, I won. After hearing Dekishin's brief introduction of the whole story, Nobita's heart knot was untied. He had never figured out why Dekishin appeared on the moon. Now that he knew this, he had no regrets. Sitting in his seat, Nobita took out his textbook to prepare for class, but suddenly his hand shook, and objects such as textbooks fell to the ground. What's going on? Why does Dekishin remember the things about the Demon King of the Demon World Star and the things that were sealed on the moon? He only now realized how stupid his question was just now, but it was also because of this that he knew something incredible. Nervous Nobita began to bite his fingers. Since he knows about the Demon King, it means that he remembers the things in the magic world. But shouldn't these two worlds be parallel worlds? Why does he know all this? Then a chill suddenly rushed to his head. Wait, it seems that he is not the only strange person. Speaking of which, that guy Yu and Daisy has been acting strange from the beginning. He seems to have unusual abilities in this world. The magic world has magic that Miyako has never seen, and there is also a sharpshooter competition. It is impossible for the world over there to hold such a thing. But, if he himself has the memories and abilities of this side, but just brought them intact to the magic world, then everything makes sense. Nobita's eyes once again swept over Dekisugi and Yu and Daisy. Since Yu and Daisy appeared, nothing normal has happened. Now that he has figured it out, Nobita realized that the first few times, when he was not taken care of by the so-called sun god, they went out for adventures, as long as the things about Dekisugi and Yu and Daisy became very vague. Moreover, Yu and Daisy's performance was not like that of an earthling at all. At least, he did not think that an earthling could easily defeat those aliens with his strength. In addition, Yu and Daisy's time of coming out was too coincidental. Doraemon came soon after he came, and suddenly, he seemed to have a certain ability to predict the future. If these things were combined, this guy was full of suspicious words from head to toe. After thinking about these things, Nobita looked at them with great vigilance. If they really had problems, why were they still here? After thinking about it, there was only one possibility, that they coveted Doraemon, the crystallization of future technological wisdom. In addition, what else was worth his coveting? Nobita silently raised the danger level of those people to the highest level, and planned to go to Doraemon to discuss it after returning. These threats had to be prevented. Dekisugi and Yu and Daisy had no idea that Nobita had guessed something, and were concentrating on looking at the podium. Then Nobita thought again, that these two people had not shown any threat at least for now, so he had to act like before and not reveal any flaws. Thinking of this, Nobita picked up his textbook and started dozing off in class a few seconds later. Chapter 507 Shock. After knowing the truth, Nobita was worried all day at school. When he got home, he immediately told Doraemon about it. What did you say? Doraemon jumped up in shock. Yu and Daisy's purpose of coming here is probably to kidnap me? Impossible. At first glance, this matter is indeed a bit hard to believe. Although Yu and Daisy is sometimes excessive, he is still very good to them in most cases. I'm telling the truth. Yu and Daisy is not a simple guy at all. Do you remember that your props failed many times on him? Hearing what Nobita said, he also recalled that there were indeed many strange things about Yu and Daisy. Moreover, when he went to ancient times, the so-called being chosen by the sun god himself had many doubts. How could he be chosen? Moreover, the existence of the sun god is still a question. The future's attitude towards this aspect is also ambiguous, which makes Doraemon not know what to think. In the end, with the attitude of believing it is better than not believing it, Doraemon decided to go to them to find out. Then let's go investigate. Doraemon took out a prop from his pocket. Spy satellite. Let's use this to see what Yu and Daisy is doing now. He took off the single eye and ear on the robot's head, and then manipulated them to observe the situation nearby. Speaking of which, I remember that Yu and Daisy seemed to have moved in the magic world, and he lives next door to us. Nobita reminded Doraemon, so we should go to the people nearby first to check, so as not to investigate the wrong one. That's right. After investigating Yu and Daisy, we can't let Dekisugi go. He actually remembers things in the magic world, and can appear on the moon inexplicably. This is really strange. The eyes and ears of the spy satellite slowly approached the yard where Yu and Daisy was. Because today is Thursday, Yu and Daisy is still cleaning. Let's investigate his house first, and then place the spy satellite in his house. How about it? Doraemon's suggestion was affirmed by Nobita, and then he began to use these two things to observe everything in the room. At this time, King Aiu was still practicing boxing in the training room specially arranged by Yu and Daisy, and this scene happened to be seen. Isn't this Yu and Daisy's cousin? Nobita and Doraemon came over. I remember that he also had strange abilities when he was in the magic world before, and he seemed to be able to control lightning. The blue fat man nodded. Yes, I remember it too. But why is he still practicing boxing now? Is it that the higher the force value here, the stronger the fighting power will be over there? After thinking for a while, the two of them looked at each other. Forget it, let's go and see the situation in other rooms. The spy satellite continued to fly out of the room. There was nothing strange in other rooms, which made the two of them relieved. Well, what should we do now? Nobita turned his head and asked Doraemon, let's investigate Chumushin now, or wait for him to come back here? Let's investigate Chumushin. Gian and as he is next to us. If we want to investigate, there are obviously more ways to investigate here. As they talked, they left Yu and Daz's house through the first floor window and prepared to fly out of the courtyard. At this moment, a sharp cry suddenly came from the mouth of the spy satellite, and the unpleasant sound forced them to cover their ears. What's going on? What's that cry? The blue fat man immediately adjusted his perspective and began to search for the source of the sound. How is it possible? After the two of them saw the source of the sound clearly, they both cried out in disbelief. Then Nobita and Doraemon wanted to put their faces close to the screen. This is impossible. It's that little devil from the magic world. Why would it appear in the courtyard of Yu and Dazi now? The magic world should have become a parallel world. Zyrozy just received a message from the soul-devouring monument that someone was spying here, so he started looking for the invader the old man mentioned. Although he actually doesn't like this new owner, it's still quite comfortable to live here for the time being. In order to prevent his peaceful life, which he had finally found, from being disrupted, he could only work hard here. Zyrozy raised her palm, and purple electric light gathered on her claws. Nobita and Doraemon screamed again, and she can cast magic. Meow. Zyrozy made a sound similar to a cat's cry, and then lightning pierced through the eyes and ears of the spy satellite. Well done. The old man appeared in front of it and touched its head. I don't need to show up for this kind of thing in the future. It's just right to be free. Seeing this strange thing, Ling Feng already knew who was behind it, but he didn't care about it. Anyway, the child already has the basic self-protection power, and he can break through in 2 or 3 days at most. Even if he is really exposed, it doesn't matter. It's just a little more trouble. In this case, it's better to tell them the truth half-heartedly, so as not to hide it in front of them all the time and get tired. Zyrozy looked at him a little unhappy. He said that he was not a small animal, so this kind of touch was impossible. It seemed to be really comfortable. Seeing his puzzled look, the old man touched his forehead with his hand, and a technique specially improved for him appeared in his sea of consciousness. He has been busy with this these days, selecting the method that suits its physique, and then improving it. Now it has been successfully made. The main reason why it is so troublesome is that the magic of the demon has already taken shape. He can only engrave the laws of disaster attributes such as lightning, fire, hurricane, etc. In this case, it is better to let them go to extremes. In this way, the talents of the demon family can be brought to the extreme, instead of becoming a functional magician like Yu and Dazuki. After getting the practice method, Zyrozy immediately lay down and began to devote himself to his practice. Not long after, a red mark suddenly appeared between his eyebrows, which surprised the old man. It seems that its affinity for destructive magic is higher than I thought. Its magic practice method is somewhat different from Yu and Daz's practice method. It does not need to be engraved, but directly built an altar in the sea of consciousness. And each layer of the altar built corresponds to a magician of the corresponding level, and even has stronger combat power. At this time, Yu and Dazhi just stepped into the door. Old man, have you given it the method you found? How does it feel? So far, the effect is still very good. But you have to work harder next time. The soul-devouring monument looked at him meaningfully. Chumushan has broken through to the 4th level. King Yu has refined his blood and ki by increasing the intensity of physical training. It is estimated that he will be able to break through the limitations of his body soon. This demon Zyrozy has a very high affinity for destructive magic, and his own magic power is not weak. Even if there is no opportunity from the outside world, it is estimated that a 4-layer altar can be cast within half a year. If Yu and Dazhi does not work hard to practice, then it is only a matter of time before he is surpassed by these monsters around him. Ha, got it. Yu and Dazhi stretched lazily. I will go to carve the 10th talisman now, and I will prepare to break through after I solve the problem over there. After saying that, He walked into the house and took Kingayu out of the practice room. "You go to the side. I'll take over this place." Seeing that her brother was so overbearing, Kingayu walked to the yard helplessly. After all, the yard was a place reinforced by the magic circle. Yu and Dazi sat cross-legged, and the wind magic power in his sea of consciousness slowly turned into strokes and began to carve talismans. Chapter 508. First battle defeat. They have already started to deal with their own affairs, but Nobita and his companions have not yet recovered from the shock of seeing the demon. I remember that this pet-like creature should be the demon that almost killed Fat Tiger and Sunir in the great adventure of the demon world, right? Doraemon nodded. They still remembered the demon they met in the Sea of Trees. Now he didn't care about the heartbreak of the destroyed spy satellite, but stood up and said to Nobita, "Let's go over there and take a look." What? Just the two of us with a combat power of only 5? Nobita couldn't believe that Doraemon was actually planning to go over there like this. Hearing what he said, the blue fat man also felt that what he said made sense, so he took out a ring and a pink bomb from his pocket and gave some of these props to Nobita. "Nobita, listen, this thing is called a reversal bomb, which can reverse the situation of the two people on the field." Doraemon hung the golden bomb on Nobita's waist. This prop is a consumable prop, but the price is not very cheap. Then he carefully took out the magic ring and put it on Nobita. "This prop is very dangerous. It can give you infinite power. Be careful." Infinite power. Nobita casually shook his hands, and then a visible hurricane was released, directly destroying the glass on the window. This is because Nobita didn't use enough force just now. Otherwise, he could even destroy the entire wall directly. "Stupid, didn't I tell you to be careful when using this prop?" Doraemon immediately roared. The previous one was too dangerous. "If you are not careful, you will die." If it weren't for dealing with those monsters that might not be human anymore, he would not have taken out such a terrifying prop. Nobita quickly took off the ring and put it in his hand. "I know, I'm really sorry." He knew that this was not the time to play. Doraemon also quickly took out the recovery ray to restore the glass, otherwise their mother would scold them again. "Okay, now we'll go to Yu and Daz's house to find out what's going on. When we get to their doorstep, we'll put on the magic ring." "Got it?" Nobita agreed casually and then went out with Doraemon. After a few steps, they arrived at Yu and Daz's doorstep. At this time, Yu and Dazi and his family never thought that one day they would be challenged by Nobita. Doraemon carefully pushed open the wooden door of Yu and Daz's family yard. The inside was still the same as usual, with no difference. At this time, Nobita had already put on the magic ring. If there was any problem, he would be the first to confront Doraemon. "It's you guys." Kingayu, who was practicing, suddenly came out from the side. "Are you here to find my brother? If so, please wait here for a moment. My brother has something to deal with now." The two of them ignored Kingayu's call and asked directly about the devil. "Where did that little devil come from? I remember you saw it at that time. Do you want to raise one too?" Kingayu didn't know why they asked this. Weren't they present when Yu and Dazi caught the devil? "Who are you guys? Why can you bring things from the magic world to the real world?" Doraemon was not to be outdone and stood up to question Kingayu loudly. Kingayu was even more confused. "What are you talking about? Isn't there only one world from the beginning to the end?" Because the two sides had different perceptions of the world, they began a confusing conversation. "Anyway, no matter what, today you must tell me clearly how you brought it out of the magic world. This is something from a parallel world." Nobita and Doraemon stepped forward, intending to subdue Kingayu, who already had many strange things in himself, and then consider other issues. Kingayu didn't take them seriously. After spending a long time with these people, he knew exactly how weak Nobita was. However, in order to avoid hurting people, he still stretched out his hand to signal them to stop. "I warn you, don't come over again, otherwise I will really do it." Nobita grabbed his shoulder without saying a word, and the speed was so fast that Kingayu didn't have time to react. How is it possible? How can he have such strong strength? Even stronger than me. Feeling the pain from his shoulder, Kingayu looked at Nobita's hand in disbelief. How could this person make him feel threatened? But this is just an ordinary child. When Kingayu was stunned, Nobita asked him loudly again, "Tell me, where is Yu and Dazi now?" At this time, Nobita also felt incredible. Through the experience just now, although he didn't know how strong he was, it was definitely not small. And this child was actually like nothing happened. You know, although he didn't use his full strength just now, he at least used more than 50%. Hearing Nobita questioning him about Yu and Dazi again, Kingayu suddenly raised his foot. Look at my trick. Painful blow. Nobita's eyes were straight and instantly looking at the knee against his body in disbelief, and then knelt down. This trick will definitely be super doubled, as long as the opponent is a man. The soul-devouring monument, who had been peeping behind him, covered his old face. Don't look at me. This is not what I taught. We demons don't have such embarrassing physical skills. Seeing Nobita being defeated so easily, Doraemon was also in a difficult position, because he didn't have fingers to wear rings. But he was not helpless. Doraemon immediately took out the reversal bomb, and threw it at them. You guy, take it now. Huh. What is this? Kingayu had no defense against the flying prop, because this prop would not be thrown at him at all, but would fall between the two of them. If something really happened, then Nobita would definitely be injured, so he was very relieved. The reversal bomb exploded on the land between the two people, and pink smoke instantly enveloped the entire venue. When the smoke cleared, the situation on the battlefield had completely reversed. The person kneeling on the ground became Kingayu, and the person standing beside him in a daze became Nobita, who still didn't understand what had happened. This was Kingayu's lack of experience in fighting the enemy. If it was replaced by Yu and Dazuki, he would not hesitate to fight back anything that Doraemon threw with unknown effects. Seeing that the situation had been completely reversed, Doraemon walked up to Nobita with confidence and said, "Really, how could you be defeated so easily? This makes it very difficult for me to do it. Sorry, I didn't expect this kid to do such a thing." It turned out that he learned bad things from Yu and Dazuki. Okay, let's go in quickly now. The blue fat man didn't dwell on this matter, and walked into Yu and Dazuki's house with Nobita. The figure of the old man appeared in the courtyard, and he shook his head helplessly. These guys actually took advantage of the convenience of the world's rules. He still needs to increase his combat experience in the future. He is so naive. But at this time, the child should still need some time, so leave the rest to us. Zyuozi suddenly came to the old man, and the old man picked it up and threw it into the house. Then you go and try their abilities first. After saying that, the old man activated the magic circle here, directly isolating the rules of this world. Before, Zyuozi was able to come to this world alive, because there were magic patterns here that could ignore the rules of the world. Humph, now your bomb can't be used. Now I want to see how you can beat it. The old man also flew into the house excitedly to watch the excitement. Life without excitement is really too boring. Chapter 509, Time Slowdown. Nobita and Doraemon walked into the room carefully. It was exactly the same as what they saw before, clean and tidy, but no one was walking around. Be careful. Although your power should be above Yu and Dazuki now, his ability may not only be strong. Doraemon walked forward carefully. They planned to catch the other party off guard and then ask what they wanted to know. At this time, Yu and Dazuki was still carving talismans upstairs and had no idea what was happening below. I know, but where is that little devil? Nobita asked in a low voice with some doubt. They couldn't rest assured if they couldn't find this devil. Doraemon also shook his head. I don't know either. I haven't seen it since we came in. Is it hiding? Meow sound that sounded a bit like a cat sounded behind them, causing the two nervous people to turn their heads quickly and look at it with full vigilance. What are you two doing here? Why are you fighting Kingayu? Zyuozi licked her paws carelessly in the back. Since it practiced the method given to it by the old man, it has become very convenient to speak, and it can even transform into a human form in the future. Stop talking nonsense. You belong to the world of magic. You should not exist in this world of technology. Get lost. Nobita rushed out without saying a word, raised his fist, and planned to use his strength advantage to quickly deal with this little devil. Although he is very strong now, as far as he knows, both the devil and Yu and Dazuki have long-range attack methods in their attack methods. If the devil and Yu and Dazuki join forces, then Nobita, who has no long-range methods, will most likely be kitted by them. TSK, you are too slow. Zyrozy laughed disdainfully and then disappeared from the spot in an instant, leaving the confident Nobita empty-handed. Speed is its forte. If it had not been trapped in one place by the magic pattern and attacked indiscriminately, it would have taken a lot of effort for others to take it down. Nobita's fist hit the ground, and dark golden lines suddenly appeared on the wooden floor. The wooden floor actually blocked the punch steadily. Damn, there's something wrong with them. Nobita saw that the floor could actually block this punch, and immediately understood the weirdness of this place. Doraemon also took out the air cannon. Be careful, Nobita. This place always gives me a very dangerous feeling. As soon as the voice fell, purple lightning fell from Nobita's head, and Zyrozy planned to kill the person who posed the greatest threat to him first. But Nobita's reaction speed at this moment was beyond imagination. The moment he felt the threat, he rolled over and dodged the attack. Don't underestimate me, I'm also a sharpshooter. Nobita stood up and caught the impact gun thrown to him by Doraemon, intending to play a long-range battle with this little devil temporarily. But Nobita didn't have any time to react. A purple figure sprinted from the ceiling several times in a row and instantly appeared at Nobita's knee. Meow. The purple figure only stayed here for a moment and then disappeared, leaving a faint red mark in the air. Damn, it hurts. Nobita squatted down and covered his knee, where there was an extra scar, which was left by Zyrozy just now. If it weren't for the magic ring on his hand that provided too much physical defense, it wouldn't be just a wound that broke the skin. And Zyrozy didn't plan to use any powerful magic to blast them out. After all, they were friends of his master. If he went too far, he wouldn't be able to explain it later. This damn little devil, it was easy for you and Dazzy to subdue it at the beginning. Why is it so difficult? Doraemon was also a little at a loss, because the speed of the little devil was too fast, and the reversal bomb hanging on his waist basically couldn't hit it. But even if it hit, it wouldn't matter. The old man did some tricks here, and sealed some of Doraemon's props, and the reversal bomb was in the sealed props. While talking, Nobita's body had a few more scars, which made them miserable. By the way, what props should I use? Doraemon began to frantically search his pockets, trying to help Nobita. As a professional assistant, how could he sit back and watch Nobita? He immediately found the secret prop, time turbulence watch. Without time to explain, he directly turned the pointer on the watch, and the surrounding scenery slowed down instantly, and even Zyrozy's movements became extremely slow. However, this prop has a slight disadvantage. That is, even Nobita was suspended by the time turbulence watch, which made him a little regretful. Haha, my prop can arbitrarily control the flow rate of time in some areas. Now the time speed on you is slowed down by 20 times. Now let's see how you can jump around. Take my air cannon. The air cannon in Doraemon's hand was instantly charged to the limit, and an air cannon with the power of a real cannon hit Zyrozy's body, instantly causing a large number of cracks on his body surface. Zyrozy slowly flew backwards, and it still has not gotten rid of the influence of the time turbulence watch. But the blue fat man was still not satisfied. Damn it, the air cannon with the power raised to the limit has not defeated it. Try 2 more shots. He replaced the exhausted air cannon with a new battery, and then aimed at Zyrozy, who was still flying in the air, and fired another shot. This time the hit was very effective. The cracks expanded again, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of the little devil's mouth. After all, it is not a warrior, and its physical resistance is not that high. After seeing this effect, Doraemon put down the props in his hand with satisfaction, and turned off the time turbulence table. How is it, Nobita? Can you still walk? Doraemon ran to Nobita's side and took out props such as bandages and potions to bandage him, so as to prevent the wound from getting infected later. The soul-devouring monument watched the whole process from the side and stretched out his hand in exasperation, intending to deal with the 2 people personally. They did not use any ruthless hands from beginning to end, but these 2 people actually beat them to death, which was too much. However, the old man did not expect that this guy would have props related to time in his pocket, which was indeed his negligence. And the only place in their family that was engraved with magic patterns that isolated the influence of time was the practice room of Yu and Dazzy. Next, in order to express his respect, the soul-devouring monument decided to take action personally and swallow the world will from the 2 of them. Anyway, the world will is in a dormant state now. If he swallows 2 at a time, it will be of great help to him. I didn't do it before, because you two are still useful. Now that you dare to mess with him, I will never let you go. Just as he was emitting his spiritual power and preparing to take action, Yu and Daz's soul voice suddenly came from above. Okay, don't think about them. Oh, even your 2 little brothers were beaten. Can you still bear it? The soul-devouring monument also retracted its hand. Those 2 things can be kept or not. Since Yu and Dazi has woken up, there is no need to deal with them. After treating Nobita's wound, Doraemon and Nobita walked to the demon Zyrozy and captured Zyrozy, who had lost the ability to resist. They wanted to take this little demon to confront Yu and Dazi and ask him the cause of the matter and why it was here. If Zyrozy was beaten to death directly, there would be no room for reasoning between the 2 sides, and then they would have to go to war directly. At this moment, King Guy finally rushed in. You 2 guys, how dare you beat Zyrozy like that? Nobita rolled up his sleeves and said, so what? If you have the guts, come and fight me. The 2 of them were confronting each other here. King Guy was afraid of Nobita's strange power, while Nobita was worried about his opponent's combat experience. Now Nobita has a lot of power, but no fighting methods or experience. It is very likely that he will not be able to beat King Guy over there. For example, when King Guy kicked him just now, he had no time to react. When the 2 sides were on the verge of a fight, the voice of Yu and Dazi suddenly came from above. Have you had enough of the trouble? Chapter 510 Acknowledgement of Identity. Yu and Dazi walked down from the upstairs slowly. Now he has engraved the 10th symbol and can prepare to advance to the next level as a magician. But the problem is that he saw 2 of his men being defeated by 2 ordinary people just after he came out. This is not good news, and Yu and Daz's mood was completely ruined by their commotion. So for now, he is still in a bad mood. Although he is very curious about the so-called transcendent realm, he still has to deal with the 2 people's affairs first. Nobita and Doraemon looked at him warily from below. Now they finally have to face this most common and mysterious person. Yu and Dazi, how did you bring that demon into this world? Answer us directly. The 2 of them tacitly aimed their air cannons and impact guns at Yu and Dazi, trying to force him to tell his secrets with their weapons. Don't be so nervous. Yu and Dazi waved his hand and used the levitation technique to take away the weapons in their hands. We are all friends. Why do we have to fight each other for such a small matter? I didn't hurt you. Yu and Dazi smiled calmly. He knew the weaknesses of these 2 people very well, and it was easy for him to deal with them. Damn, this bastard. Doraemon was a little worried without a weapon in his hand. Look at my Gorgon head. Just when his hand was about to touch his pocket, the 4-dimensional treasure bag suddenly disappeared, leaving Doraemon's hand empty. Yu and Dazi appeared behind him at some point, with a small pocket in his hand. The props in it were all top-grade treasures that ordinary people could never encounter. Seeing that his pocket was robbed, Doraemon instantly got angry. Damn, give me back my treasure bag. Then like a hungry cat, he rushed to Yu and Dazi and tried to forcibly take the pocket. This thing has a very special meaning to him, and the props inside are also very important, and they must not fall into the hands of others. Yo, you want me to spit out the things in my hands? Yu and Dazi directly hit him on the head with a knife, knocking him aside. Then he shook his hand helplessly. This head is really hard. With my current strength, it's okay if there is no dent, but it actually hurts me. That's for sure. According to my calculations, you can't directly hurt it before you reach level 4. The voice of the soul-devouring monument appeared in Yu and Daz's sea of consciousness, which made him feel a little surprised. Is this guy's body so hard? If this is really the case, then wouldn't he still be unable to beat the robot Doraemon? It shouldn't be, right? Don't worry, you can use his props directly, and you can easily hurt his body. And you can also learn how to repair robots. After finding the switch, you can also dismantle it directly, because this is the rule set by the world, and they cannot be violated. Doraemon has also struggled to get up from the ground, looking at Yu and Dazi unwillingly. Now he should think about how to get the pocket back. Nobita ran to Doraemon's side and pulled him up. Yu and Dazi, what do you want? What do I want? You rushed into my house for no reason, injured Zyrozy and King Gayu, and asked me what I want? Gian and as he still played with his pocket slowly. What do you think about using this pocket as compensation? Don't even think about it. That's a prop for the future. Doraemon will never give in on this point, no matter who comes. Even if it is forcibly taken away by Yu and Daisuke, he will use the spare pocket to take it back. If his ability is not enough to solve it, he will also let his sister Doraemon come and fight side by side with him. If so many terrible future props were allowed to fall into the unlimited past, it would definitely cause a terrible storm. Yu and Daisuke casually put Doraemon's pocket into the cloak he was wearing, and then walked over to heal Xiaozi on the ground. King Gaiu, you don't have to be on guard now. Go and bring some cups of tea. After all, we are friends. Then he opened the door of the reception room and walked in. Nobita and Doraemon looked at each other and followed him in. At least Yu and Daisuke is the one who has the absolute advantage now, so they'd better follow his wishes. And he hasn't shown any intention of attacking yet, so they should try to talk to him. Maybe there is room for easing. After the three sat down, King Gaiu reluctantly brought a tray of black tea and threw it on the table, glaring at them fiercely, and almost threw the cups in their faces. It's really unpleasant that I have to serve them tea after being beaten up just now. Seeing that he was secretly unhappy, Yu and Daisuke chuckled. Okay, don't make such a bitter face. Go watch TV and relax. Humph. King Gaiu's expression eased, and then he went to the next room to watch TV. Anyway, he has practiced for a whole day today, so it shouldn't be a big deal to go over and be lazy now. He picked up the teacup and took a sip. He had done his best. The next step was to get some benefits from Doraemon. Just as he said, if he took it by force, Doraemon would probably not let him go, and it would be difficult for him to guard against the Doraemon brothers and sisters who had so many props all day long. So the only way was to let Doraemon give it to him himself, so that he could take it legitimately and without any worries. The two of you came here, probably because of the demon Xiaozi, right? Yes, that's a demon from a parallel world. If the current army is used to deal with this kind of demon, many people will have to sacrifice, you know. Doraemon also stood up, and if that demon gets out of control, you will definitely be the first to die. Don't worry about this, it won't get out of control. And as he drank the black tea on the table, I have a way to control it. Hearing this, the two were silent for a long time, and Nobita asked, I'm curious, how do you control the demon? Where did you get these magical things? This time Yu and Daisuke did not hide it anymore. Yes, I do have a lot of secrets, and you have known for a long time that I have extraordinary powers. You want to say that you are the messenger of the sun god? Don't fool us with this kind of thing anymore. This trick has been useless for a long time. In fact, there are many doubts about this matter itself, and it can't stand scrutiny at all, not to mention Nobita and Doraemon who have already become suspicious. You are talking about that matter. I'm sorry that I lied. Actually, I was not the messenger of the sun god from the beginning. I should be considered a magician. I have been hiding it from you for everyone's good. Yu and Daisuke poured them a cup of tea and asked, how is it? Are you satisfied with this answer now? Doraemon looked serious. So this is why you can keep your memory under the effect of the telephone booth? No, that's not right. Not only the memory, but also your ability should be preserved when you travel through parallel worlds. Yes, you are very smart. And after the previous adventures with you, I tampered with your memory. I believe you have also found something wrong with your memory. There are many contradictions about me. Of course, I'm too lazy to explain to you now. I will return your original memory to you, and you can see it for yourself. After that, Yu and Daisuke unsealed a part of his sealed memory and let them understand it for themselves. After a long time, the two finally digested this part of the dusty memory, and the eyes they looked at Yu and Daisuke also changed a little. Seeing that the two had almost digested the information, he was the first to break the silence. Okay, now that you know the truth, it's time to discuss this pocket. Chapter 511, The Limit of Name. Okay, what do you want to do? Doraemon finally compromised helplessly. No matter what, I must take the pocket back. Nobita also nodded. If Yu and Daisuke did not agree with their bottom line, then the battle between the two sides would still be inevitable. Yu and Daisuke poured himself another cup of tea. Of course I can return it to you, but I want a prop. It's useless for you to keep it. What is it? The two immediately began to consider the pros and cons. If it's not an important prop, just give it. This prop is in Nobita's hand. As long as you give me that ring, I will immediately return your 4-dimensional treasure bag. I will never break my promise. He didn't intend to covet these props. As his strength improved, he could do many things that props could do. There was no need to offend Doraemon for this. But the ring on Nobita's hand was a little special. The soul-devouring monument specifically asked him to exchange it, saying that it was very similar to an ancient relic. You want this ring? Nobita took the ring off. I can give it to you, but you have to tell me why you want it. After that, they stopped talking and just looked at Shiyu and Ashi. They had to have a suitable reason to give it to him. Although this thing is quite powerful, it is not a prop that can affect balance because its only effect is to increase strength and physical strength. However, no matter how much the physical strength is increased, it still only takes a bullet that is commonly found in this world to easily take the life of the holder. Based on the above considerations, it is not impossible to give this prop to him, but they are also very worried about what this guy will do with it. Have you forgotten something? Now you are the ones who want to exchange things with me, not me who took the initiative to find you. Gian and Ashi smiled again and handed them a cup of tea. If you want to exchange, then please give me this ring. The two were silent for a while again, and Doraemon stood up. Okay, but you have to promise that you can't use this prop to do bad things. Can you do this? You are not right to say that. Hearing this, he was a little dissatisfied with my ability. If I want to do bad things now, how many people can stop me? If this ring is not useful to me, I will not covet your props. This sentence made them think it through. With Shiyu and Ashi's ability, if he wants to do bad things, it seems that he really does not lack this ring. So Nobita put the ring in the middle of the table, but he didn't let go of his hand. Then please take out the pocket. Shiyu and Ashi smiled. Very good. I like simple things. This is your pocket. You can check it first. After that, he took the pocket out of the space in the cloak and put it on the table. Doraemon came up and opened the pocket to check it. After confirming it, he nodded to Nobita. Nobita then let go of his hand. We are very sorry about what happened today. I hope you don't take it to heart. After reaching a deal, Dashi took the two guests to the door. Then I won't see you off. Zyrozy bared his teeth at them at the door. It wanted to bite them now, but its master was still here. After Nobita and Doraemon walked out, Nobita looked at Doraemon. What kind of prop is that ring? I don't know. It was in the pocket when the dean gave it to me. If it weren't for the instruction manual, I really don't know the effect of this thing. After the two chatted casually for a few words, they didn't take the ring to heart. Anyway, it has been given away, and it seems impossible to regret it. I just hope that Shiyu and Ashi will not do bad things. After sending the two people away, Shiyu and Ashi also returned to the room with satisfaction and took out the ring to look at it carefully. I didn't expect to encounter this ring here. You are so lucky. The old man's spirit appeared in front of him. This ring is called Limit. It can help you break through the 4th level beyond your imagination. Shiyu and Ashi took it in his hand, but you still didn't tell me the use of this item. Limit, as the name suggests, its function is very simple, which is to help the wearer remove physical or spiritual restrictions. You should know that, in order to protect our bodies from damage, our consciousness always unconsciously limits the use of our own strength. A few years ago, there was a rumor on your Earth that a father even stopped a normal car with his bare hands in order to save his son. Although the authenticity of this incident remains to be verified for you, I can tell you very clearly that this is possible. He just lifted the restrictions he set for himself under extreme emotions, so he can do such incredible things. After listening to his explanation, Shiyu and Ashi was a little curious. So what is the situation when you say your body is damaged? Like the father I just mentioned, after removing the restrictions and saving his child, he may only live for a few hours, or even shorter. Chenbu Mukeo. Is this ring so dangerous? Forget it. I still want to live for 2 more years. He immediately took off the ring, intending to hide it forever, until he had to fight for his life. Don't worry, there are many ways to remove the restrictions of consciousness on the body throughout the ages, but the thing in your hand is the most precious. Do you know why? because this thing can not only remove the restrictions to the maximum extent, but also minimize the damage to the body. Just like Nobita just now, his strength can be stronger than King Gyu, but he can still be fine. This is the most precious part of the limit. As soon as the voice fell, Yu and as he immediately put on the ring again. Even Nobita, that loser, can be so powerful, so if I wear it, won't I be invincible directly? You wish. The soul-devouring monument poured a basin of cold water on him on the spot, hitting his inflated self-confidence. Practicing physical skills and practicing magic are our way of constantly developing and deepening the potential of the human body. In other words, you won't become a Superman from a loser all of a sudden, but the upper limit of your physical strengthening will be much higher than his. Is that so? Then I'm relieved. Now that he knew the function of this thing, he could wear this ring on his hand with peace of mind to strengthen his own strength. Okay, with this ring, you can deal with that old man who kills people everywhere, and then start preparing for advancement. After the old man finished speaking, he also immersed himself. In order for this child to advance smoothly, he had to make some necessary preparations. By the way, there are really many ancient relics in this world. Yu and as he suddenly became curious, I wonder what other good things Doraemon has in his pocket? Brother, the person you have been paying attention to for some time is on the news again. Do you want to come and see? King Gyu shouted to him in the living room. Now he also hated this old man who disturbed him watching TV. Yu and as he ran over immediately. The dead old man was creating murderous sins for his own strength advancement. For tomorrow's action, he must know all the information about him so as to guess his location. Chapter 512, Unusual Movement. In the temple, the sun god on the throne woke up from his deep sleep again. What's going on? Why haven't the god of truth and the god of soul replied yet? This pair of gods was responsible for interrogating prisoners, so they were the least injured in the god war, because few people cared about them, and they were too lazy to care after they were on the sidelines. And these two guys were also very smart. They basically didn't intervene in the god war, and they just sat there all the time, which could be regarded as avoiding the possibility of falling. In addition, no matter which side won, they would not be liquidated. Could these two people die in that broken world again? It's really worrying. The sun god stretched out his hand to call out the god realm directory and began to look up the status of the god of truth and the god of soul. The information sent back made him frown. What's going on? Not only did both of them fall, but even the throne of the god of truth exploded? Who has such great ability? The sun god thought he had made preparations for the worst possible situation, but the development of things was still a little worse than he expected. What kind of enemy is it that makes Easton go to such lengths to destroy his throne and fight against him? He should know the importance of the throne. The sun god stood there and pondered for a long time, and finally left the temple to find some outside help. The identities of these people are not ordinary. Although they fell into a deep sleep during the war between gods, no god on either side was willing to attack them. So in the end, with the tacit consent of both sides, these three gods had to fall into a deep sleep in advance to prevent them from joining either side. Of course, in that situation, they knew better that if they did not take the initiative to fall asleep, they would definitely be the first to die. The sun god came to a closed building and gently knocked on the hall that had been sleeping for nearly 1,000 years. The storm of the war between gods has calmed down. I'm the current king of gods, and I order you to wake up immediately and serve me. Then we will separate here first. By the way, you must remember to give me a copy of that thing. Yu and as he waved goodbye to Chumushin at the intersection and reminded him not to forget to give him a copy of the design of the spacecraft that flew to the moon last time. Originally, Yu and as he was not interested, mainly because the soul-devouring monument wanted to study the structure of this spaceship. He was very interested in this kind of prop that could cross the void, and he also wanted to improve their technology. Got it. I'll go back and draw a picture for you now. Xiaoshin was a little helpless, and he had a lot more work to do. He has been studying the energy block recently. This thing seems to be able to absorb other types of energy to maintain its own operation and power supply. It can be said to be a perpetual motion machine that combines magic and technology. Now he has to draw this design for at least 5 or 6 hours, and this is because his mental power is cheating on the side, which makes him feel a little headache. There is no way. This kind of precision instrument cannot have any error. Any mistake may cause the operation of the entire instrument to crash. So it takes a lot of time to draw to ensure that there is no omission or negligence. After Yu and Dazi returned home, he immediately went to the second floor and prepared to find the soul-devouring monument to discuss the action tonight. How is it? Did you find any useful information? I'm busy all day. Putting down his school bag, he looked at the atlas floating in the air and asked with interest. It's not that I didn't get anything. I went to the nearby police station to find a lot of files and finally got some results. Several maps floated in front of Yu and Dazi. Look at these crime scenes. They are all in the large area of Tokyo. After saying that, the old man used the red pen in the air to draw a big circle of the crosses on the map. Damn, such a large area. Do you want me to search one by one? It seems that you think I'm not dying fast enough. Yu and Dazi looked at the large area marked out and directly rejected the idea of searching a little bit. Don't worry, I know you're lazy, so I worked overtime to narrow down the scope for you. Soul-devouring monument picked up the pen again and marked several areas on the map. I roughly searched this area with my mental power, and finally I locked these places, all of which are beyond the reach of my mental power. Even your mental power can't reach it? Could it be that the old man is so powerful now? Yu and Dazi instantly became alert, and the strength of soul-devouring monument's mental power has always been unknown. Don't worry. First of all, I'm subject to certain restrictions here, so I can't use my full strength. Second, most of these places are due to the terrain itself, and these are not considered the strength of the caster himself. Yu and Dazi nodded with relief. I know. Then where do you think these places are the most suspicious? If you have to say, it should be here. A pen flew up and landed on a more remote map. This is the land of the evil spirits. It has the innate effect of gathering yin and nourishing spirits. It is very suitable for the survival of monks like him who sacrifice flesh and blood. In addition to this, there is a lot of resentment in this building, all left after people die. It is very likely that he is here. Looking at the 2 areas on the map, Yu and Dazi was a little troubled. Now there are 2 suspected areas, and they are so far away from here. What should I do? Let King Gayu go to one area. Let him take the Infinity Ring and the Dark Star Cloak, and you just take the Archangel Staff. What? Is King Gayu your biological son? You actually let me give him all these good equipment? The soul-devouring monument glanced at him disdainfully. Why, don't you dare to fight him head on with me here? Okay, I will rely on you here. Yu and Dazi casually threw his task to him. By the way, if King Gayu goes alone, nothing will happen, right? According to the soul-devouring monument, after killing so many people, the dead old man may have entered the 4th level now. As far as he knew, King Gayu had no way to face off against a level 4 opponent, and he might die again. Don't worry about that. Don't forget that he is a Killin who inherited all of Lanshu's energy. After wearing the Infinity Ring to release his potential, his strength is even greater than that of Lanshu. King Gayu in this state may not lose to the true god. And as his face fell helplessly, well, now among the few of us, I'm the worst, right? Yes. So why don't you work hard to enter level 4 quickly, otherwise you will be left far behind by them. Okay, I get it. Now let me do my homework first. He took out the sketchbook from the drawer and prepared to do this week's sketching homework. When Yu and Dazi came back with a few sketchbooks with scenery already drawn, King Gayu had already served today's lunch and dinner on the table. Looking at the steak in front of him, Yu and Dazi shed tears of emotion. Great, we don't have to eat insects today. Although this thing is not actually filling, it is definitely a delicacy for the duo who are tired of eating segmented insects. So satisfying. Dazi wiped the sauce from the corner of his mouth with his napkin and handed the Infinity Ring to King Gayu. You also have your own mission today. Don't let me down. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 513 Encounter. Haven't you found any clues yet? Where is the god who has the ability to kill Eastern and Madison? The sun god looked at the three goddesses who looked almost the same in front of him, waiting for their answers with expectation and a little anger. He couldn't wait to kill the enemies who dared to challenge the majesty of the gods, so that those people in the lower world would know to fear the gods. Be quiet. The thread of fate has begun to be woven, and we will naturally inform you when there is a result. The goddess who had been doing nothing at the end yelled at him very unhappily, and then shouted at the two people in front of him, "Are you two done yet? I'm already impatient waiting here." When they were about to quarrel, the three of them suddenly became confused, and the impatient goddess just now picked up the scissors unconsciously. The sun god looked at these goddesses with great curiosity. Is this the legendary ability to observe fate? It's really interesting. The names of these goddesses are not on the list of the gods, but their status is very transcendent. Not to mention him, even the former gods can't say much about their behavior. After a while, the impatient goddess Atropos cut the thread of fate with scissors, ending the prophecy. Clotho, who was responsible for pulling out the thread, said solemnly, "This incident is more serious than we thought. There are people in the world whose fate we cannot control." What? Even you cannot control his fate? Then how powerful is he? If the person who killed the two gods has such power, then he must consider whether to avenge them. It is obviously not worthwhile to provoke a god-level existence for two insignificant people. No, you are overthinking. Lachesis, who was in charge of weaving the silk thread, shook her head. He is not strong, but he is out of our control. The sun god touched his chin and thought, that person is not strong, but he is out of your control. Why did this happen? It's very simple. We have been asleep for hundreds of years, since the War of Gods. During this time, our ability to control our fate has weakened, so there may be some accidents. Although the situation was a bit serious, the three sisters did not take this person to heart and stood up directly. "Don't worry, we have learned some of his information through fate. Let's go find him." The sun god nodded, and the divine power wrapped their bodies, intending to fly directly to the fragments of the world. "Are you sure you want to do this? Your body hasn't recovered yet, right?" Atropos looked at the sun god with a slightly playful smile. "Don't worry, although I was injured by those two damn women, it's still no big problem to just fly this little distance with people." The divine power completely wrapped the four people, forming a golden sphere, and began this not so long journey. Yu and as he looked at this area, "Old man, are you sure you found the right place for me?" At this time, there was a cemetery in front of him, which didn't look like a place where people could live, so he was suspicious. "The place I gave you must be right. Although it is a bit desolate here, it is a great place for them." The old man's voice was as confident as ever, so Yu and Daisy had to put away the map and start looking. "To be honest, I still don't believe that there are people living in this cemetery. Let's finish the search and leave quickly." It was almost dark at this time. If this place became a haunted place later, he would not be able to adapt mentally. He was not afraid of ghosts now, but if there were a few weird looking things floating around him, it would also be uncomfortable. While walking, he looked around the surrounding situation. The almost weathered trees and dusty tombstones were the best places for horror movies. It seems that no one has been here for a long time. "Are you sure there is really someone staying here?" I'm not sure either. After the old man entered this place, his trust in his previous guess began to decline wildly. Although the place is very good, it does not look like a place where people live. Unknowingly, night has fallen, and wisps of mist began to slowly emerge from the ground, which looks a bit creepy. He endured the discomfort and stayed here for a while, but finally gave up. "Forget it, I don't think he should be here." The old man had no way to refute this guess, so he had to agree. "Okay, if there is no news from King Gyu, you should go back and prepare for the promotion. Anyway, as long as you are strong enough, he can't kill you." The two took a while to reach a consensus, and then walked towards the exit in the distance together. But just as he was about to leave the cemetery, Yu and Daisy suddenly heard a strange voice nearby. "Let me see, this is the 64th one. I didn't expect it to be so tiring." Yu and Daisy immediately headed towards the source of the sound, and then saw a man kneeling in front of the earth pit, holding a skeleton and muttering something. "Oh my god, I didn't expect there was actually someone here." And what is he doing now? Could it be that? He quietly looked at the man who was talking to a corpse, and his doubts continued to grow. No, I have to stop him. After seeing that the man's movements became more and more strange, he had to jump out. You pervert. What are you doing here with a corpse? Are you? The man was obviously frightened, and he subconsciously threw the corpse in his hand away. Damn, you actually dug someone's grave. Although you are not a murderer, I still have to beat you up first. Yu and as he immediately took out the Archangel's staff, and magic power poured in crazily, and bright red flames burned above the magic stone. Don't do it. Listen to me first. The man immediately stood up and wanted to explain to him, these are the bodies that were killed in the explosion in the department store before, but no one claimed them. I just came to bury them. After listening to his explanation, Yu and as he did not throw the fireball in his hand for the time being, but he did not remove it. Although he could not believe it completely, he still had to investigate clearly. How do I know if what you said is a lie? You should know about the killing in the department store, right? The man sat down helplessly. I was actually in the department store that day, but I couldn't stop the old man from killing. Because there were no bodies there, my ability of the dead was not very effective, and I lost to the old man in the battle. I watched those people die in front of me but was powerless. I felt guilty for them, so I came to bury them. After saying that, he rolled up his sleeves. Look, this is the memorial that the old man left for me. Yu and as he then carefully examined the man, and suddenly a familiar feeling came to his heart. He touched his chin and asked, wait, have we met before somewhere? The two looked at each other for a while, and suddenly shouted at the same time, aren't you the adult child who saved me, was saved by me, in front of the palace last time? Why are you here? Chapter 514. Someone stole the house. Chumashin carefully drew the design, sighed, put down the several brushes in his hand, and in his mental power, and carefully checked the drawings for errors. It's really troublesome, but this design is more perfect than the last time. The master should like it very much, right? Rolling up the design and holding it in his hand, Zyadishin went downstairs and locked the door, looking at the house with some sighs. Since Yu and as he moved out, he has been living here alone, and he always feels a little lonely. Putting the key in his pocket, Zyadishin couldn't help but think in his heart, I wonder if Dazzy will move back. Then Chumashin chuckled and said to himself, but with his personality, he probably won't come back unless his current home explodes, right? Forget it. Anyway, we are not far away now, so we can just go and find him when the time comes. Thinking of this, Chumashin quickly sorted out his mood and started walking towards Yu and as his new home. It was very quiet tonight. Basically everyone went back home early and no one would hang out outside. The main reason is that the murderer, who is a master of swordsmanship, has caused panic among the people recently. Everyone has restrained themselves and tried not to go out at night to avoid being targeted by him. Although this is useless, if you are targeted, he will not let you go just because there is an extra wall and a door in front of him. Demishin also knows this, but he doesn't care much. Although he did not take the initiative to find the murderer, he would not be helpless if the other party came to his door. When he arrived in front of his house, Demishin stretched out his hand and rang the doorbell. Dazki, I brought you the design drawings you wanted. After a while, there was still no sound coming from the room, which made Demishin feel a little strange. What's going on? Why didn't Dazzy answer me? Could something have happened? Zyadishin immediately ran to the living room next door and looked inside from the French window. At this time, there was not even a light in the room. Seeing this, he was relieved. It seems that Yu and Dazzy should have gone out, so no one answered me. This bastard, it's obviously what he wants, but he dared to stand me up. Zyadishin stood outside the door and knocked on the window indignantly, then turned and left, planning to come to him tomorrow. Just when he walked to the gate of the courtyard, the door of the house was suddenly opened. Meow you Chumashin Yinkei. Please come in. Zyadishin turned his head and looked at the little devil. What's going on? It's okay that Yu and Dazzy is not here. Why is King Gayu gone too? Don't be so anxious. Come in and have a cup of tea first. I will slowly explain to you what they did. The little devil stretched out his claws and pulled Chumushin into the room and then used magic to close the door heavily. Anyway, the door was reinforced with magic patterns, so you can just throw it casually and someone will repair it if it breaks. 2 cups of high-grade black tea were placed in front of the little devil and Chumushin. He told me before that if you come, I should treat you well. Chumushin looked at the humanized little devil with some discomfort. How come you can speak? This is a cultivation method that the senior gave me, specially customized for me. Speaking of this, it was a little happy. When it was in the demon realm star, no one cared about its life or death, not to mention this kind of cultivation method that looked very advanced at first glance. Chumushin nodded, not intending to dwell too much on this issue, and asked about the main business quickly. Okay, now I want to know, what are you and Daisy and King Gayu doing? They actually have to act together? You mean them? Meow, they went to find a murderer, and they will probably be back in a while. But don't worry, they can deal with it. After getting Ziozi's answer, Xiaodishin was relieved, as long as the two were fine. Okay, I'll go back first. After learning about the whereabouts of the two, Xiaodishin didn't need to stay. Putting down the teacup in his hand and standing up, Chumushin handed the design to Ziozi. By the way, this is what they want. You pass it on for me. The little devil took the design with his claws. Okay, then I won't give it to you. As for this scroll, I will definitely hand it over to the master intact. Please rest assured. They walked to the door together. When Chumushin was about to go out, there was a knock on the door. Oh. Could it be that Chiyu and Daisy is back? This time is really a coincidence, Chumushin said, while going to open the door for him. At this moment, Ziozi ran in front of Zioshan and stopped him. Don't open the door. Although I don't know who is visiting at this time, I can be sure that it is not the master. Ziozi looked at the door with full vigilance. Through the soul contract, he could clearly feel that Chiyu and Daisy was still far away from home. And most importantly, the people outside had very obvious malice. As a demon, feeling whether others have malice towards them is a talent they have cultivated with their lives and time. Otherwise they will die quickly on the demon star. Seeing Ziozi getting angry, Chumushin also began to be on guard. According to what you said, this person may be a threat to us? Yes, and the detection array under my feet tells me that the person who comes is very powerful. The knocking on the door did not stop, because he saw the light inside, so he would never give up. The two sides were deadlocked for a while, and the person outside finally lost his patience and punched the door. The array without anyone to preside over it could not withstand this level of attack, and the door was directly broken by this huge force. Chumushin used his mental power to push away the flying door panels, and finally saw the old man who looked like a homeless man at the door. At this time, the little devil had been knocked aside. Even if Yu and Daisy came, it would take some effort to deal with such a powerful force, let alone he could not resist it. Who are you? Why are you here? Xiaodishin took a step back, and the momentum of the man in front of him made him feel a little palpitating. The old man picked up a piece of skull from his neck. It's strange. According to divination, that damn kid should really live here. Who are you, and why are you here? Chumushin was very nervous. The pressure this person gave him was not much less than that of Manazan last time. He might as well try to negotiate with him first. The old man put the skull down casually, and a dark light enveloped the entire house. Forget it. I remember that you were in the same group with that kid in that show. Let's go down and wait for him first. At this time, a silver white long knife appeared in his hand. I have been looking for this knife for a long time. You will die under this famous knife. Fine Snow. After speaking, the old man jumped up and chopped down at Chumushin's head. Combat skill, Phantom Thunder Slash. Chumushin watched the lightning in the sky getting closer and closer to him, sweat gradually sliding down his cheeks, and his heart was already occupied by fear. Yu and Daisy was chatting with Zhao Hong in the cemetery when the anxious voice of the Soul Devourer suddenly rang out. Oh no, your house has been robbed. Chapter 515 Time Reversal. What did you say? My house was robbed. Yu and Daisy looked puzzled. Are you kidding? How could a thief enter our room? According to the magic pattern defense you set up at home, let alone thieves, people below level 4 strength could not enter. No kidding. Just now, the door of the house was forced open, and the other party's strength is very strong. Hearing this, Yu and Dazi couldn't stay calm anymore and immediately stood up and said goodbye to Zhao Hong. I'm sorry, something happened at home, so I have to go back first. Zhao Hong picked up the shovel. Okay, I also need to continue digging the soil. There are still dozens of people there who need me to bury and erect a tombstone for them. Yu and Dazi nodded, turned around and ran out of the cemetery. What a coincidence. My cloak is right there with King Gaiu. I'll go find him now. No, don't go find King Gaiu. Fly back by yourself. Yu and Dazi was stunned by the words of the soul-eating monument. Why didn't he go to find him? King Gaiu seems to be trapped in a magic circle now. He can't get out for a while, and you can't get in either. Instead of wasting time and pinning your hopes on King Gaiu's cloak, I think it will be much faster to fly back directly. After hearing his words, Yu and Dazi weighed the matter in his mind, and a layer of runes gradually floated around him, and then his figure soared into the sky. It's really abominable. Who else could it be except that guy? If I use the flying spell to go back, it will take at least half an hour. No, I have to add a second level wind spell. Thinking of this, the magic power in his body surged, and another layer of runes was added, and the speed instantly increased 5 times. There is nothing valuable at home, but Xiaozi. Forget it. Now I just hope Xiaozi can delay me back. 10 minutes later, a stream of light fell at the door of their house, and Yu and Dazi rushed into the room anxiously. At this time, the door had been violently destroyed, and there were many traces of fighting inside. Yu and Dazi angrily hammered the wall. Damn it, you old man, get out of here. Judging from this trace, Xiaozi may have fought with the other party. Judging from the strength of both sides, even with the blessing of the magic pattern here, Xiaozi's chance of winning is less than 30%. His mental power swept across the whole house, and then his expression became strange. What's going on? Why is Junfei here? At this time, Xiaozi was lying quietly on the side, and Chumashin was holding a bracelet in the guest room, looking at this strange thing with a puzzled look on his face. Seeing this, Yu and Dazi immediately rushed to the living room. Junfei, are you okay? Seeing Yu and Dazi coming back, Chumashin stood up. Don't worry, I'm fine. What happened just now? How did you appear in my house and fight with this old man? You still have the nerve to ask? It's because you said before that you wanted the design drawings of the spacecraft. I drew it for so long, but you stood me up. Chumashin helplessly took out the tattered design drawings in his hand. Now I have to draw another one. He didn't care about these things when he was fighting before. The opponent was very strong and could affect people's emotions through props. He had to go all out. Yu and Dazi also breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at you like this, I know you are fine. But how did you beat this guy? He is not particularly powerful, but I feel scared when I face him. Xiaoshin took out the bracelet he had seized. It is this thing, which can affect the opponent's mind and disrupt the opponent's casting progress. I think he came to find you specifically, and he also wore this prop specifically for you. He must have come to find me. Have you forgotten the sword master who was beaten so badly by me before? It's the one lying on the ground. While speaking, Yu and Dazi kicked the corpse. For such people who disregard the lives of others, there is no need for a trace of pity. Then Yu and Dazi asked again, then how did you defeat him? The opponent has this prop. It should be difficult for you to win. Actually, it's okay. Speaking of this question, Chumashin touched his head a little embarrassedly. Before, I was too scared, so I hit him too hard and accidentally killed him. Hearing this, Yu and Dazi gave him a thumbs up expressionlessly. I admire you. Although there was some teasing, there was also some emotion. Chumashin was no longer the child who would have nightmares after killing someone. Then Xiaoshin handed him the necklace. I'll give you this prop. It won't be useful if I keep it. Yu and Dazi stretched out his hand and pushed it back. Forget it. After all, it was seized by you, so it's yours. Xiaoshin didn't continue to entangle. He also felt that Yu and Dazi should not lack this prop. And the most important thing is that Chumashin is very short of props now. The magic tools that Yu and Dazi gave him before have been destroyed in the magic world. If he doesn't have this kind of props to supplement his fighting power, he might be thrown off by them. By the way, Xiaozi was slightly injured, so I'll leave it to you to take care of. I'll go back first. He put Zyrozy in Yu and Daz's hand, waved at him at the door. "I'll give you the design tomorrow. Okay, be careful when you go back." Yu and Daz he also waved goodbye to him. I really didn't expect that a hurdle that I thought could be a test for you was actually solved by this kid. The voice of the soul-devouring monument appeared in Yu and Daz's ears again, and it still sounded as annoying as before. "So you just want to see me make a fool of myself, right? You are really disrespectful to the elderly." Yu and Daz he said that he was very unhappy. This old guy was thinking about how to trick him all day long. Then he began to detect the body of another old man, and then his expression became strange. No wonder he can master supernatural powers. It turns out to be because of this. At this time, in his soul, several golden fragments slowly floated, and immediately all of them were magical knowledge, and they seemed to have self-awareness. When they sensed Yu and Daz's soul, they immediately panicked and wanted to escape, but he directly used his mental power to recycle these soul fragments and put them together with the previous fragments. At this time, these soul fragments assembled themselves, and finally these fragments gradually formed a broken golden soul. Inside the soul, there was also a human soul. When Yu and Daz he saw the appearance of this soul clearly, he was shocked. "Isn't this Zangshan? Why is his soul here? Old man, is it your doing?" The soul-devouring monument quickly put aside himself. "It's really not me this time. I swear, I definitely only brought your soul. But this fragment seems to have the characteristics of being alive, so you'd better seal it for me quickly, so as not to threaten you at any time. It's up to you. Anyway, I'm not interested in this thing." Yu and Daz he walked to the corridor and took out the staff. "It's better to restore the house quickly." The soul-devouring monument immediately used his mental power to start wrapping layer after layer of patterns on these soul fragments, and the consciousness of the soul fragments began to gradually decrease until it was completely silent. While he was working, a giant clock appeared at Yu and Daz's feet. Under the effect of his magic, the hour hand began to slowly move back. A few seconds later, the whole house returned to its original state, and Zyrozy, who was lying beside it, also recovered. When it saw its master coming back, it immediately ran to Daz's feet and rubbed its head against Yu and Daz's feet affectionately. The soul-devouring monument looked at Zyrozy with some relief. "It seems that, when you used time magic, you also cured Zyrozy. Wait, did you move the old guy's body out of this house?" Chapter 516, The Return of the Gods. The two were silent for a while, and Daz he said uncertainly, "It shouldn't be. After all, I just retreated for more than 10 minutes, and I used up half of my magic power." At this time, an old man who looked like a homeless man slowly walked out of the house, touching his head in confusion. "Strange, I remember I should be outside the house. When did you come in?" "It was you." He turned his head and saw Yu and Daz next to him, and his anger value was full again, and his eyes were full of bloodshot. "You kid made me lose everything, but I also got this extraordinary power. Now it's time to make you pay. Today, I will use my famous sword Zixu to cut you into pieces. Where is my sword?" He looked at his hand in confusion. The sword that should have been on it was gone. These things had been taken away by Demushing as trophies. "Forget it. Even if I don't use the sword, I will torture you well today and watch you die in pain." He exerted force on his feet, and the magic pattern on the floor appeared faintly at this moment to prevent this force from destroying the house. Daz he did not dare to take it lightly. Just as he was preparing to fight, a golden light suddenly descended from the sky, blocking the two. Both of them were stunned by this sudden change. They thought it was the other party's skill, and were fully alert to this strange energy. He pointed at Yu and Daz with a crazy look in his eyes. "Did you do this? Don't think that this will make me give up. Don't get me wrong, I don't know what this thing is." Yu and Daz spread his hands, indicating that he was also in a state of confusion. "You stupid and ignorant mortals, seeing the gods in person, why don't you kneel down?" An almost emotionless voice came from the air, making the two people below frown. "Who is this person? So awesome?" The golden light path formed a staircase, and 4 people in gorgeous clothes slowly walked down the road, looking at the 2 people below indifferently. "There are 2 ants below. Which one is the one who escaped from the control of fate?" Lachesis stretched out her jade-like finger to Yu and Dazki. "It is this child. His existence indirectly led to the death of the god of truth. The sun god looked at this guy with no emotion in his eyes. Come and listen to your sins, and then repent. Hearing this, Yu and as he was disdainful at first. Who do you think you are? But just when he opened his mouth to mock the other party, he found that he could no longer speak. What made him even more terrified was that his knees bent uncontrollably and knelt on one knee in front of the other party. After the initial few seconds of panic, Yu and as he forced himself to calm down. I remember, this is the soul spell, mantra. Why did he use the spell that the old man gave me? This kind of magic can only work on people whose soul power is far lower than his own. In other words, the class gap between the two is too big. Even if the other party tells him to die, he will commit suicide without any resistance. The three goddesses also walked in front of Dazhi, pulled out a thread of fate, and wrapped it around Yu and Daz's neck, and began to connect and detect the other party's fate. Seeing that these people dared to ignore him, the old man was also angry. This little bastard is his prey. You bastards, you dare to attack my prey. Don't you want to live? As he spoke, the blood-red fog around him condensed instantly and turned into 3 blood-red spears, going straight for the heads of the 3 goddesses of fate. Seeing this, the sun god snorted coldly, and the blood-red spears dissipated out of thin air. You are just a piece of trash that was forcibly piled up by blood and soul. Do you dare to be arrogant in front of me? The sun god raised his hand, and the flames and light gathered on his hand. Your sins are serious. You should go to hell to repent your sins. The old man only saw the flash of fire, and then felt a pain in his chest. He lowered his head, and looked at his heart with difficulty. At this time, there was a crack in his heart. The flames drilled in from here, and burned all his internal organs at this moment. This is impossible. I obviously have such a powerful force. How could it be? He took 2 steps forward with difficulty, and finally fell to the ground with a bang, turning into ashes from the inside out. Humph, no matter how strong an ant is, isn't it still an ant? What a pathetic person. After killing him, the sun god also turned his attention to Yu and Dazhi. To him, everyone here is an ant, but this child was specifically asked for by the 3 goddesses of fate. After his usefulness is completely gone, there is no need to pay attention to him anymore. It would be easier to kill him directly. At this moment, the 3 goddesses looked up at the sky at the same time, and countless threads seemed to flash in their eyes. Oh, have you entered the state of observing fate? It seems that there is only a moment before you can draw a conclusion. The sun god stood aside with his eyes closed, quietly waiting for the 3 goddesses to give the final fate of the child. The consciousness of the 3 goddesses quickly entered the big net of fate and began to look at this unique thread. Sister, there is something wrong with this thread. It looks very different from the other threads. Clotto pointed at the fate thread of Yu and Dazhi and shouted to the 2 sisters. You don't need to tell me about this. Atropos was a little impatient, but what I'm more concerned about now is still there. The 3 sisters looked in the direction of Atropos's hand. The fate thread of this child seemed to have gone to an unknown direction. His fate seems to have transcended this world. I think there must be a reason why we cannot control his fate. After a brief discussion, the 3 sisters finally made a decision. Sisters, let's follow the thread of fate to see. Maybe there will be an unexpected surprise. They followed the guidance of the thread of fate and walked forward step by step. On the way, they saw fewer and fewer threads representing fate until only Yu and Dazhi was left. Sure enough, there are parts of this child's fate that we don't know. After going out, tell the sun god not to kill him directly. You can force his memory to read, and you must dig these things out. They walked for a long time, and suddenly another extremely thick thread of fate appeared, which made them excited. Great. It seems that this is one of his secrets. We must go and explore it. With joy, the 3 sisters accelerated the pace of fate. The further they walked, the denser the golden thread of fate became. Crossing these thick threads of fate, the 3 sisters finally saw the situation outside clearly. This is actually the big world in the past. Great. God bless our god clan. As long as we have this human as a beacon, we can open the door of time and space. That's right. Our god clan has experienced so much suffering, and the time to return is finally coming. They immediately rushed into the dense threads of fate and began to use the fate of Yu and Dazhi as a bridge to try to control the fate of the big world again. Now through the threads of fate that exist in the world, the three girls have successfully communicated with his parents, using them as a fulcrum, and began to constantly control the people who have intersections with them, using them as a beacon when returning. The fate of the original world's life began to slowly mix with the will of the three sisters, and began to take over their fate step by step. As long as the control is successful, these people, whether in the past, present, or future, will be under their detection, and they can exert influence quietly. Chapter 517, A Gift with a Clear Price. Silently, the bridge of fate had begun to be built, spreading from Yu and Daz's parents before, and entering Dust City from Chongqing where his parents were. Feeling the land of fate, Clotho felt a little annoyed. Is this the land of the East? There are too many people. Yes, with our strength, the control of fate is so slow, isn't it because there are too many people? Although they kept complaining, their hands were not idle. The vision of the three people continued to spread with the thread of fate, and Dust City was gradually controlled by the three people. At this moment, a young man in white military uniform appeared in front of them. At this moment, the power of fate of the three goddesses was instantly repelled, and their aura began to become disordered. Who are you three? How dare you wantonly affect the fate of all beings here? Don't you know that this can provoke a war? The three sisters looked at the young man in disbelief and kept taking deep breaths to adjust their energy flow. Just now, this man just appeared in front of them, and his aura had been disrupted, and even his soul was damaged. Just when they were about to ask, the young man spoke first. Who was it I thought? It turned out to be an antique from thousands of years ago. Master Hanjin spared you out of kindness at the beginning. Are you still unwilling to give up after so many years? This world no longer needs you. Get out of here as soon as possible. Don't even think about it. Hanjin exiled us to the outside world for 2000 years. This is our only chance to go back. Do you think we will give up? Atropus reached out and grabbed the two sisters. This guy is unfathomable. Lend me your power. At this moment, the young man suddenly stretched out his hand. Although I don't care about you, it is not convenient to exert too much power of destiny now. It is better for you to die sooner. An incomparably powerful force of destiny gathered in his hands. The three sisters even forgot about the fusion of souls. All they could see in their eyes was the figure of this young man. They shouted, "This is impossible. Such a powerful power of destiny should not be something that humans can master. You despise life, commit countless murders, and disrupt the fate of the world. In summary, I sentence you to death in the name of destiny." The power of destiny gathered in his hand gathered into a golden lightsaber, and cut off the three goddesses' destiny at a speed that exceeded their reaction limit. After killing the three goddesses, the light continued to spread, and cleaned up all the wills left in the silk thread by the three of them, completely erasing the traces of their presence. Finally solved. My body will get worse after calling the power of destiny this time. Forget it. I can't wait much anyway. Erasing them is not just a matter of protecting everyone's safety. He actually has a selfish motive, which is to erase his competitors. A place where one person can enter is called a private space, but a place where two people can enter becomes a public place. So in order to maintain the peace of their own domain, these three old antiques must die no matter what. The boy wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and then he looked along the way of destiny, and saw Yu and Dazi kneeling on the ground, and the sun god standing next to him. Sun god, and Yu and Dazi? No, Li Junfei? The young man suddenly chuckled, and gently fiddled with the thread of fate that belonged to Yu and Dazi. For Zhang Shan's sake, I'll help you this time. As fate trembled, there were countless possibilities that could happen in the room, but now only one was left. But the gift of fate has been marked with a price. What can you use to repay it in the future? In Yu and Daz's room, the sun god stomped his feet impatiently. Why haven't these people come back yet? At this moment, the three goddesses regained consciousness, and then spit out a large mouthful of blood at the same time, and quickly entered the dying stage. Clotho stretched out his hand with difficulty, still a little unbelievable about what had just happened. How could it be possible? Someone can control fate. What did you say? Who can control fate? The sun god immediately hugged her. Tell me clearly, what happened? But after saying this, she had exhausted all her strength. Her eyes stared at the ceiling, and she could no longer say a word. At this time, the spindle and silk thread on the ground also disappeared in an instant. Without the power of destiny, these things also lost their form. Really? You died so easily? At least finish what you want to say before you die. The sun god threw her cold body aside. So what should I do now? Am I going back alone? After thinking for a while, he set his sights on Yu and Dazi, who was still unable to move. Forget it. Let me take a look at your memory first. Maybe I can gain something. Then the sun god pulled Yu and Dazi's head up so that their eyes could face each other directly. Seeing this guy preparing to search his soul, Yu and Dazi anxiously asked the soul-devouring monument, "Old man, do you have any ideas? I'm going to become an idiot. Don't be nervous. When his soul enters the intersection of the sea of consciousness and memories, I will do my best to severely damage his soul. Then you can kill him desperately. He is not in a good condition now. If we join forces, we have a 10% chance of winning. Then you can lure Dekisugi over. Maybe you can get away safely." Damn it. Yu and Dazi forced himself to calm down in his heart and then prepared to face the soul-searching technique of the sun god. His mental power entered his soul through Yu and Dazi's pupils as the two expected and was ready to cross the sea of consciousness to the place of his memories. Yu and Dazi in the soul-devouring monument both raised their attention to the extreme, waiting for this final moment. As long as he didn't check that his soul was severely damaged, Yu and Dazi would burn his life and send the dark blade into his heart. HMPH. This kid's sea of consciousness is relatively broad, but it's still far from our level. The sun god casually floated in his sea of consciousness and commented on his cultivation, but this technique seems to have the shadow of our god clan. Has he ever found the inheritance of God? Just as he was about to enter his memories, both of them focused their attention to the extreme, just for this peak attack. But just when he was about to leave the sea of consciousness, for some reason he suddenly stopped and looked in one direction. And Yu and Dazi left a few drops of cold sweat on his body. Could it be that their plan was seen through by the sun god? It can't be such a coincidence. What is that thing? This child is actually helping others to raise souls in his own soul? Is this thing interfering with the detection of the three goddesses of fate? The sun god looked at the golden soul with curiosity. The strength of this soul was beyond his imagination. It was indeed not something this child could possess. When he saw the full picture of the soul, the materialized soul of the sun god was frightened and took a few steps back. No, this is impossible. He has been dead for many years. This is absolutely impossible. The sun god's tone was filled with fear. How could he meet him here? The sun god floated in Yu and Dazi's sea of consciousness and flew directly to the soul that Yu and Dazi had just collected, with a look of astonishment on his face. This is actually the soul of the Lord God. The sun god subconsciously moved away from Zhang Shan's soul in the center of the soul. Unfortunately, these souls have now been sealed by the soul-devouring monument, so they can't pass any news to him. If this step is missing, then Yu and Dazi will die today, and no one can save him. After wandering around the Lord God's soul for a while, the sun god finally took the initiative to withdraw from Yu and Dazi's soul. I don't know why, he just wants to leave here now, and at this time he has no intention of fighting with Yu and Dazi. Chapter 518 Master. After the soul left, the sun god looked at the child kneeling on the ground from outside. He was so young, but he was already close to the point of understanding the universe. With this unscientific cultivation speed, if he was the reincarnation of the Lord God, then all the difficulties would not be a problem. Moreover, the laws he now mastered were also 7 points similar to those of the Lord God, and it seemed that he was also prepared to master a world. The more the sun god thought about it, the more he felt that his idea was right. If he attacked the Lord God's reincarnation now, it would likely cause a counterattack from the soul. Even if he could bear it now, he would still sleep for a long time. The more he thought about it, the more confused he became, and finally his mind could no longer stay on it. The divine power slowly wrapped around his body, turned into a small sun, and disappeared in Yu and Dazi's room. Watching his back as he left, Yu and Dazi asked the soul-devouring monument in disbelief. Did you hear what he said just now? Don't worry, I'm not deaf. You said before that the soul looked like your friend? That shouldn't be possible. I remember the appearance of the Lord God, and he doesn't look like your friend at all. I don't know, maybe I remembered it wrong. After all, My impression of him is a little vague. That's right. But it's a good thinking guy who is not here tonight. Otherwise you would not survive. Yu and DazZhi also agreed with this. That's right. I don't think the magic pattern we engraved can hide from this god. His strength is too terrifying. Now, as long as he thinks of the fleeting flame, he can't muster the courage to resist, and he will definitely be killed instantly without any resistance. Anyone in their team, including Chumushin, can only be crushed against the sun god. However, Yu and Dazzy secretly swore, just because I don't have the ability to take revenge now doesn't mean I won't bear grudges. You wait for me in heaven. One day, I will make you kneel before me without dignity, like I do today. He clenched his fists. He would remember today's humiliation, and would definitely pay him back, when he had the chance. Okay, I know you are very unwilling. Clean up this place first, and then have a good rest. Yu and Dazzy was still a little worried. What about King Gayu? Are you going to ignore him? The soul-devouring monument agreed with this. Don't worry, he has the dark star cloak you gave him, so even if he falls into any trap, his life is not in danger. Yu and Dazzy nodded, and simply used magic to restore the place to its original state, and clean it up, then returned to his bed and fell asleep. The sun god returned to his temple, still a little worried about what happened today. What if he took revenge on him later? Now I have offended the person who is suspected to be the reincarnation of the Lord God. If his memory is restored in the future, will he seek revenge on me? Master, why do you care about these trivial matters? You know the Lord God's magnanimity. Will he care about such things? The surrounding flames condensed into a human figure again, comforting the sun god around him. The sun god's emotions were still very confused. The Lord God used to only have the mind of conquering the demon race, so he naturally didn't care about these things. But just now I felt a hatred that was deeply buried in his heart. When he entered the soul of Yu and Dazzy just now, it was impossible to hide this little thing from him, so he was naturally very worried about it. After a period of silence on both sides, the flame spoke again. Master, if you are really worried, how about making the Lord God never wake up? Hearing this, the sun god was shocked. If this is the case, it seems to be really feasible. But he soon rejected this proposal. If the Lord God really wakes up, then it will really be a hatred that will never end. No, this proposal has too many variables, and it's not that easy to destroy the soul. Seeing the sun god hesitate, Flame fell silent. What he said was indeed the truth. How could a soul that could awaken many times in endless reincarnation be destroyed because of weak gods like them? So this proposal was indeed not very realistic. Master, what you are worried about is that the Lord God will take revenge on you after he comes back. What if he doesn't have the power to take revenge on you after he comes back? Hearing this, the fire in the heart of the sun god ignited again. That's fine. Do you have any good ideas? That's right. The reason why the Lord God is called the Lord God, isn't it because he has always been able to control that big world? Now he seems to be constantly promoting the completeness of the world, just to allow himself to control the world again after his resurrection and return to his peak state. But you also know that this big world was first destroyed by the demon queen Nuwa with the star throwing technique, and was completely shattered by Taoist Hangjin. Now he has little control over the world. If you can set up a magic circle before this world is complete, suppress the world will that has not yet fully recovered, and use your laws to modify the origin of this world, then you will be the new master of this world. As long as you control the entire world, you will naturally advance to the level of the supreme god of the Lord God. Even if the Lord God successfully returns from the endless reincarnation, he will definitely not be your opponent without the origin of the world. What do you have to worry about? After listening to the words of the flame servant, the sun god finally calmed down completely, with a sneer on his lips. Yes, it is indeed a good idea. Take me to the book storage now, and then find all the parchments about world research there for me. We must find a way to seize control of the world as soon as possible. Because the Lord God who once controlled them had a big world himself, there were already many scrolls about world research. Even if the Lord God strictly forbade them to study this knowledge, they who lived in the world would know some secrets more or less, even if they didn't want to understand. With his thinking ability and understanding of the world, it is not difficult to summarize the method of controlling the world from the scrolls, but this process takes a certain amount of time. In this process, not only can the Lord God himself not wake up, but even the rules of the world cannot be too perfect. Because an imperfect world means there are loopholes in the rules, and by making good use of the loopholes in the rules, it will be much easier for him to control the world. Listen, you should closely monitor the trajectory of the world's operation now. If the world shows signs of perfection, or if that guy shows signs of awakening, you must notify me as soon as possible. Yes, my master. The flame servant flew above the earth and began to monitor the situation in this world. The sun god looked at the mountain of scrolls before, began to study frantically, and sought the knowledge he wanted. After the flame servant came to the sky, the soul-devouring monument immediately felt his presence, and the spirit rose into the air again. Not long after, the old man transformed by the soul-devouring monument came to his side, and the two incorporeal lives stood face to face. At this moment, the servant, who was surrounded by flames, suddenly knelt on one knee in front of the soul-devouring monument and whispered, "Master." Chapter 519 Separation. The next morning, when he got up, King Aiu still hadn't come back, which made him a little worried. Would something happen to this child? Old man, you should tell me King Aiu's location. I'm still a little worried about him. This time, the soul-devouring monument didn't say much. It immediately marked King Aiu's location on the map and transmitted it to Yuan as he through the soul. Because he was preparing for a breakthrough recently, he chose the Shinkansen that didn't require magic power and went to the center of the city again. More than an hour later, Yuan as he stood in front of a dilapidated rental apartment and asked, "Old manling, should it be that room? I seem to feel the magic pattern inside." "Yes, that's the goal of our trip. You have learned the magic pattern, so you should be able to try to crack this thing. Just practice." He nodded, then jumped directly to the third floor, stood in front of the door, and began to study the method of cracking. This magic pattern seems familiar. I know. Is it the dark space? After finding the rules, he immediately walked along the flow of the formation, and then found the core position of this trapped formation, which is the space treasure, the black space stone. After watching for a while, he knew that he could not destroy this formation at present, because he did not have the ability to destroy the black sky stone. Apart from destroying the eye of the formation, is there any other way? You know I can't destroy this thing at present, and I also want to keep it. Now you really can't destroy the black sky stone, but you have the ability to destroy the magic pattern. Now the other party has placed the magic pattern in front of you. Are you still telling me that you don't have the ability to destroy ready-made magic pattern? Yuan as he reached out and touched the magic pattern. The magic fluctuations here were not strong, and it was all because of the black sky stone that it worked. It is very difficult to destroy this kind of trap formation in the inner space, but it is very simple to destroy it outside. In addition to violently destroying the eye of the formation, it is to interfere with the operation of the magic pattern, so that the magic power of the perfect cycle continues to flow away, so that the magic pattern loses its effect. But this method must find the most critical magic pattern to work. A qualified magic formation is composed of at least thousands of magic patterns. If you try bit by bit, no one may be able to withstand such an exaggerated loss. Let me see. This is a magic pattern written with magic power mixed with some other auxiliary materials, so it can store a lot of magic power. This is also the main reason why he can still play a role, even if he is not in the formation now. He immediately had a countermeasure for this kind of magic pattern. You only need to use a substance mixed with a lot of other energy to disrupt it. It seems that I have to bleed. Thinking of this, Yuan as he stretched out his hand and scratched his finger with his other hand. Then the magic power surged, and a drop of blood comparable to ruby appeared on his finger, emitting beautiful brilliance under the morning sun. The old man looked at his hand in surprise. "You are willing to use your own blood, aren't you afraid that it will affect you when you break through the realm later?" Yuan as he casually wiped the blood on a very critical magic pattern. "It's just a drop, it won't matter. As long as you can get him out quickly. It must be uncomfortable to stay in the endless darkness, right?" Because the magic pattern was disturbed by the blood, the flow of magic power was interrupted. After the magic patterns around flickered a few times, the energy began to merge into the blood and continued to dissipate. More than 10 minutes passed before the energy of the entire magic pattern dissipated completely, and the formation collapsed. By the way, I suddenly remembered something. Before entering, Yu and Dazi suddenly reminded Ling Feng, no matter what happens in there later, you must not interfere. Well, I know. Ling Feng also felt a heavy atmosphere. After being with him for so long, it was the first time he heard Yu and Dazi call his full name so solemnly. What on earth did he want to do? After saying that, Yu and Dazi also went back to the door and pushed it open, shouting in a very annoying tone, Kingayu, where are you? Are you dead? If not, say something. After entering the room, Kingayu was sitting in the middle of the room with his back to Yu and Dazi, with no intention of turning back. Seeing this, Yu and Dazi walked over and pulled him up, seeming a little annoyed. What are you doing sitting here? Why don't you answer when I call you? Kingayu suddenly pushed Yu and Dazi away. Don't touch me. You and that old man don't care about me at all. Yu and Dazi took a step back, very satisfied with his current temper, which was exactly what he wanted. Then tell me, why don't we care about you? Yu and Dazi pretended to be indifferent and kept provoking Kingayu. You have only been outside for one night. Do you know how long I have been here? Why didn't you come to find me earlier? Why did you take a leisurely sleep at home before coming to pick me up? If the cloak hadn't told me the truth, I would have thought you had been looking for me last night. Look at what you said. Yu and Dazi spread his hands and smiled. We will only come back to find you if something happens to you. If you don't come back all night, how can we know if you are really in trouble? If you disappear for a few minutes and then go to find you, and when we find you, you are just eating snacks on the street, then isn't it a waste of my time? Look, I came to find you as soon as I woke up, brushed my teeth, and washed my face. How can you say we don't care about you? You are really too much. Kingayu tore off the cloak and threw it to him. Since you don't regard me as a family member in your heart, then why should I follow you? The old man looked at Kingayu, who was in a rage, and sighed softly. How could he not know what the child wanted now? He just wanted them to comfort him and explain what happened last night, and he would naturally go with them. But the current situation is that Yu and Dazi wants to deliberately make him angry and leave. These things are impossible to do, so naturally things will get worse and worse. Although Kingayu was furious, Yu and Dazi still walked to Kingayu calmly. Yes, it's just as the cloak said. I really don't care about you. If you don't want to go back, I won't force you. The world is so big, you can go wherever you want. By the way, leave the limit and have a good trip. Humph, just go. Do you really think I'm precious? Kingayu threw the ring on his hand to the ground, then rushed out of the door and quickly disappeared from their sight. Hey, why did you make him angry and leave? The spirit of the soul-devouring monument appeared in front of him, and he still didn't quite understand this idea. Yu and Dazi picked up the limit on the ground and looked at it in his hand. Old man, do you really think that letting Kingayu follow me under the current circumstances is a good thing? Don't forget, no matter what the sun god thinks now, I will definitely be on their key observation list. If he pays attention to me from time to time, how likely is it that Kingayu's identity will be exposed? You should know the ability of high-level gods better than me. Given the hatred between the two races, if the gods find out that Kingayu is a demon, then both me and Kingayu will be killed mercilessly by the gods. After listening to his considerations, the soul-devouring monument had to admit that his thoughts did make sense. Even if the person who is monitoring outside is his internal response, there is really no way to guarantee that Kingayu will not be discovered. And if the gods later discover this matter, but he does not report it, it may cause the sun god to doubt his identity. So according to the current situation, letting Kingayu leave them temporarily is a good thing for both parties. Wait, then this cloak told Kingayu about your sleeping situation before. Was it also your instruction? Yeah. Do you think the cloak would take it out of context and exaggerate it for no reason and tell him something that is extremely detrimental to our relationship? If that's the case, we may have to consider erasing its spirit. At this point, the Dark Star Cloak suddenly trembled, as if it had heard something extremely terrible. Yu and Dazi put the small ring into his pocket, then put the cloak into his palm, and walked out of the small apartment. He just sent King Gaio away, and in fact, he felt very uncomfortable in his heart. After all, he had always treated this person as a child. Forget it, why think so much now? Anyway, it's not like there will be no chance to see him. He shook his head helplessly, and then walked towards the direction of the station. After preparing to take the Shinkansen back, he began to prepare for the advancement. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 520, Nobita's Hard Work. When he walked to the door of his house, he happened to meet Nobita, who was out buying groceries. But what surprised him was that Nobita was actually reading a book on the way to buy groceries. What's going on? Nobita is actually reading math problems while walking. Did he take the wrong medicine today? And Dazzy touched his chin and thought about various possibilities, and then denied his first idea. No, it shouldn't be the wrong medicine. Could it be that Doraemon gave him some magical props? It seems that this possibility is more likely. So he hurriedly stepped forward to greet him. Nobita, why are you studying? Did you use some props from Doraemon again? Hearing his voice, Nobita raised his head. You are talking about this? I didn't use any props. I was just preparing for the exam on Monday. What? You didn't use any props? And Dazzy was shocked again. This can be called an eternal wonder. Although Nobita had grown up a little before and had the idea of working hard, he could only read books for a while with his help. Now he is working so hard. So and Dazzy immediately walked up to Nobita and said, since you are working so hard, let me give you a hand. Come on, I will come to tutor you later. Although he had promised Nobita to come back, he had not tutored him many times due to time constraints. No need to trouble you. Nobita shook his head. I want to try my best in this exam to see my true level. After saying that, Nobita jumped away, while and Dazzy's hand was in the air, not knowing where to go. After a few seconds, he retracted his hand. It seems that he really wants to work hard this time. Then I wish you good results. After standing there for a while, he also sorted out his mood and returned to his room. Old man, I want to break through the realm now. Do I need any special preparation? If so, please tell me. I have to join the team of Transcendence in the next 2 days. Yes, now you should go to the training room quickly. There are still some magic patterns to be carved there. They are all used to protect and increase the strength of the soul. As he spoke, the old man sent several very complicated magic patterns to his sea of consciousness, which made him dizzy. Now he said that he was a little frustrated. Is it such a complicated thing? How long will it take to carve it? It won't take long. You should wear the limit now. This thing can not only increase your strength, but also greatly increase your work efficiency. And Dazzy nodded. After wearing the infinity ring, he immediately felt that his soul was much clearer, and the complexity of these magic patterns instantly dropped several levels. What? It turns out that these magic patterns are not complicated. It only takes 1 day at most to get it done. With the help of this ring, and Dazzy began to work. The speed of carving on the ground made the soul-devouring monument look at him with admiration. When Nobita came home from shopping, Doraemon was already waiting for him upstairs with a pile of exercises. How is it? Have you remembered all the exercises you did when you went out before? I'm going to test you. Nobita patted his chest hard and shouted, no problem. I already know this level of addition and subtraction very well, and I also remember the multiplication and division. Very good. Then let me test you. What is 800 divided by 4? Nobita answered confidently. It's 200. Correct answer. Doraemon took out a handful of shredded colored paper from his pocket and threw it into the air. He was so excited now. Then let's continue. Don't be scared by these seemingly complicated math problems. Nobita and his friends were reviewing hard, and Iki was not idle either. He was now reciting ancient poems at home. But in the evening, he welcomed a guest he had never expected, which completely disrupted his review plan. Just when Chumushin was reading quietly, someone suddenly knocked on the door below. Is anyone there? Stop knocking. Do you have a grudge against my door? Zyadishan quickly threw down his book and went to the first floor to open the door for the person outside. When he saw who was coming, he was stunned. Kingayu? Why are you here? Hasn't this kid always been taught by you and Dashi in that senior? Why did he suddenly have time to come to his home? Speaking of this, Kingayu suddenly pushed open the half-covered door and pounced on Chumushin. How could the poor door panel withstand his strength? It instantly opened a hole in the wall and flew into the courtyard. If Chumushin hadn't reacted quickly and quickly used his mental power to protect his body, he would definitely die in this bear hug. My brother said today that he doesn't want me anymore and drove me out of the house. I have nowhere to go, so I can only come to you. I know, ahem. Can you get off me first? Chumushin quickly patted Kingayu's back and told him not to hug too hard. But this ordinary comfort seemed to have no effect, so Chumushin had to use his mental power to slowly take Kingayu off his body. After finally putting Kingayu down, Chumushin was still frightened. How could this child's strength increase so much after not seeing him for a while? But he quickly calmed down and comforted him. Okay, don't worry, come to my house and talk slowly. While speaking, he used his mental power to restore the walls and door panels to their original state, so as not to scare people nearby. The old man's murderous incident had caused a lot of uproar before, and the storm has not passed yet. What if he scares others and calls the police? Kingayu also remembered that she was very strong, so she had to be careful to protect the environment, so she had to follow him carefully. Zyadishan brought Kingayu to the living room and then asked him, so what happened in your place in the past 2 days? I don't think Dashi is going to abandon you so easily. I don't know. I was trapped in a formation for a whole night last night and he didn't care about me at all and didn't seem worried at all. At this point, Kingayu looked at the floor unhappily and he said today that I don't have to go back. Anyway, I can only cause trouble for them. It's too much. Then did you and Dashi tell you the reason? If he kicked you out, he should have explained the reason. No, I wanted to leave out of anger, but he didn't mean to stop me. He just asked me to leave the ring if I left. Chumushin thought for a while, still shook his head. I don't know what happened over there, so I can't be sure what he thinks for the time being. But I think with his personality, if you want to leave, he will definitely not let you leave so easily. There must be something hidden. What's the sound? Chumushin suddenly heard a strange gurgling sound. He thought some small animal had sneaked in here. Kingayu touched his head a little embarrassedly. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten since last night, and I walked for such a long time today. Hearing this, Zyadishan could only smile bitterly, and then used his mental power to take out the few snacks in his house. Looking at Kingayu who was wolfing down the food, Chumushin felt a little headache. You can stay at my house first, and we will go ask him together tomorrow. Kingayu nodded and agreed, and went to bed after eating. His nerves have been tense since last night, and he has been exhausted. After Kingayu left, Chumushin also began to think about what happened over there. Kingayu didn't know many people here. If he was kicked out, then there would be no other place to go except here. So did Yu and Dashi deliberately drive him here to give the child to him to take care of, or did he not expect Kingayu to come to him? Yu and Dashi, what are you thinking? Chapter 521 9 Principles. At night, when Yu and Dashi used his magic power to draw the last magic pattern, the protective array was finally completed. Finally finished. Yu and Dashi stood up and straightened his back that was about to be strained, and finally felt comfortable. Drawing this thing is really too laborious. Not only are there many strokes, but there can't be any mistakes. These damn magic patterns, I have been drawing from morning to night. It's really a waste of time. Thinking of this, Yu and Dashi was a little curious. How did the predecessors study these complicated and cumbersome things? Aren't you talking nonsense? These things are the result of countless years of research by many ancient predecessors. I feel a little sorry for the hard work of those predecessors to let you finish 4 array patterns in one day. Okay, I'm too lazy to argue with you. Yu and Dashi waved his hand, indicating to end the topic. I'm going to sleep first, and I'll start breaking through tomorrow. He yawned. He didn't eat all day for this thing. Now there is no one at home to cook. Maybe I won't be able to eat tomorrow. After he fell asleep, the soul-devouring monument immediately floated into the sky and found the flame servant who was still monitoring the operation of the world. The little guy we bet on will break through tomorrow, and I want to ask you for something. Let me guess. His life source is seriously damaged. Do you want me to give him a ray of life fire to prevent him from failing due to lack of vitality? You are right. The soul-devouring monument admitted this openly because of the reason for the practice. This level is his biggest hurdle, and you have enough ability to help him. The flame servant did not say much about his decision. A ray of almost pure white flame floated to the side of the soul-devouring monument and was contained in his body by his mental power. I have no objection to you taking away this flame, but the best way now is to let him cultivate himself. Forcing him to grow too fast may not be a good thing for him, and it may leave some troubles. It's too late to say this now. Neither you nor I have any way out, so he must grow up in the shortest time possible. After saying this, the soul-eating monument suddenly remembered, you can actually use Chinese idioms? When did you learn it? Because I have been monitoring the world these 2 days, and I will learn the languages of various countries when I have nothing to do. But now the new human civilization is so developed, people like us really have no need to exist. He spoke in a low tone, but the soul-eating monument was not sad. Seeing this scene, you should be the happiest one, right? The flame servant did not speak. After the soul-eating monument looked at him deeply, he returned to the room and slowly melted the fire of life into Yu and as his body. His comprehension of the law has far exceeded the threshold of the 4th level. With the fire of life, everything will be safe. The task we are carrying now is too heavy, and we must not fail. The next morning, Yu and Dazi got up early, and then he felt that his energy became very strong, as if he had unlimited vitality. It seems that the sleep last night was very good, and the magic power and mental power have recovered to the peak state. I can try to break through the realm. Thinking of this, he turned over and got out of bed, and the dark star cloak instantly appeared on his body and turned into a set of clothes. Then he didn't care about eating breakfast and went directly to the training room that was just arranged last night and called Ziozi at the same time. Listen, I will activate the formation for a period of time and the next period of time. Don't let anyone disturb me. Ziozi yawned humanely, indicating that he had understood, and went to the first floor to guard against the enemy. As long as the enemy is not at the level of the sun god, generally speaking, it will not lose too quickly. Yu and Dazi walked into the training room, activated all the magic patterns, sat in the middle of the room, closed his eyes, and slowly immersed his mind in his own sea of consciousness, and began to fuse the seals. The first seal slowly merged into the origin seal with his mind, followed by the first disaster, the elemental disaster. During the fusion process, the element around Yu and Dazi's body suddenly became violent, wanting to destroy all living things here. Even the water element in his body began to become active, wanting to leave his body. The element hate all living things, and they only like the purest self. At this time, in addition to taking the trouble to fuse the seals, Yu and Dazi also separated a little bit of his heart and began to manipulate the elemental laws to fight against the chaotic rules of heaven and earth. The laws on both sides collided with each other, and the winner was immediately determined. The surrounding element quickly quieted down and no longer tried to escape from his body. After the origin seal absorbed a seal, the strokes began to extend, wanting to grow a new pattern. At the same time, an inexplicable light pattern appeared on the seal, which was the embodiment of all his current insights into the laws. At this moment, the archangel staff in Yu and Dazi's hand seemed to be inspired. The talisman inside the magic stone changed along with the talisman in his sea of consciousness, and also began its own realm journey. Soon, the second talisman, Sky, also began to merge into the origin talisman. At this moment, the surrounding space seemed to collapse, and many cracks appeared, and the fragments of space began to fall slowly. The places touched by these space fragments were not easily scratched, and even the ground engraved with magic patterns could not avoid it. The fragments that fell on him not only did not disappear, but embedded in his flesh and blood, hindering the circulation of blood and soul. At this time, another law of the sky began to try to control the surrounding space. The cracks in the surrounding space reached their peak at this moment, and it seemed that they could completely shatter at any time. After a few seconds, the surging law of the sky in the outside world was defeated by him, and the space returned to normal. The space fragments embedded in his body also became part of his body's energy. The third talisman also successfully merged into the origin, and then the golden red sun true fire suddenly burst out from his body and began to burn his body. And as he also calmly activated the solar law he had comprehended and began to continuously gather the raging flames inside his body, which eventually turned into a fireball and melted into his magic power. The fourth was the star tribulation. There was an endless gravity from the ground, trying to tear him into pieces. However, his current body and the strength of the law were sufficient. If the interval between the fusion of the seals could not be too long, he would even want to use this gravity to exercise his body. The fifth was the life tribulation of the life law. The vitality of his body suddenly began to wither, but his vitality seemed to be reorganized more than expected. This level was a close call. The sixth tribulation was the ice and fire tribulation of the temperature law. Half of the body felt the temperature was extremely low, and even the air had a tendency to solidify. The other half of the body felt trapped in flames, and the high temperature, that was unknown to the limit, seemed to want to evaporate every drop of liquid in his body. The seventh tribulation was the soul law. After the invisible soul impact was weakened by the crystal ball, he easily took it with his soul. Not only did he not feel any discomfort, his soul felt even clearer, as if it was sublimating. The last two symbols were left, and and as he merged them into the origin together. The disasters of the past and the future came at the same time. The time on his body suddenly began to be disordered, and part of his skin gradually began to age, with wrinkles and age spots appearing on it. The skin of another part became more pink and tender, gradually returning to the age of a baby, and the area of the skin also became smaller due to age. However, he did not panic, but used his whole body and mind to comprehend this process, the past and the future, which contained the law of time. The two laws began to merge faintly, and the boundaries between the two on the surface of the symbol began to blur, with a faint trend of fusion. When he felt that his body had almost reached its limit, he used his own law to defeat the disaster, and he returned to the present. At this point, the 9 disasters corresponding to his own law had all been overcome, and a force suddenly released between heaven and earth to act on his soul. And as he only felt that his vision began to be pulled higher and gradually rushed out of this planet, but the speed of rising did not slow down, but became faster. At the same time, another force acted on his body, beginning to strengthen his flesh and blood, the quality of his magic power, and improving his physical potential. Chapter 520 to breaking in. His own soul continued to transcend boundaries until it slowly broke away from the fragments of this world and came to another, wider world. The laws that exist here are more complete and broad, and the aura of life is more abundant. Even his soul can feel the obvious increase. This should be the great universe mentioned by the soul-devouring monument, right? It seems that this is where I was born and raised. And as he felt the situation of the world in the air, he did not feel any discomfort, but instead had a feeling of going home. At this moment, another force came and engraved a mark on his soul. Now he felt that his soul power began to surge, and even the laws of the universe around him began to become clear, and he could feel it. Laws. The laws here are very different from the laws I feel. Is it because the laws in the small world are different from those in the great universe? Without thinking so much, he immediately put his mental power to the maximum and began to feel the laws here. If his previous perception was equivalent to the Japanese yen, which could only be popular in Japan, then the current laws are the hard currency gold in the world, which can be used anywhere. And in the process of his perception, he is trying to integrate and sublimate the laws, as the old man said. The soul-devouring monument looked at and Azhi from outside. Now that he has successfully advanced, I wonder how far he can go in what I said. I hope he can complete it all. More than an hour passed quickly, and and Azhi opened his eyes from the state of perception. He seemed to feel a little tired. He actually withdrew from the state of perception without any preparation. That damn old man. He didn't even tell me that staying in the universe would be a great burden on the soul. He was forced to exit the state of perception just now because of the oppression of the soul. However, after adapting for a few seconds, he re-entered the perception. The time here is extremely precious, and there is not much energy. to complain about the unclear instructions of the soul-devouring monument. Of course, this cannot be blamed on the old man, because he had asked Yu and Azhi to carve the magic pattern to protect the soul, so that he could stay in this state of perception for a while longer. If there were no magic patterns, he would have been forced to return to his body, because of the oppression of the soul. Demushan also woke up at this time. It was only 7:30 now, but King Yu had been practicing physical skills in the courtyard below for a long time. He had not forgotten the despair they had faced before when facing the God of Truth, so he also began to care about his own strength, and did not want to follow the other person and beg for protection. Izuku looked down from the window in the room. King Yu, how long have you been up? He stopped his movements and looked up when he heard Zayaoshin's voice. It should be more than an hour, right? Anyway, it was just daylight when I got up, and it is very suitable to practice physical skills under the morning sun. Izuku jumped down directly from above. It is not suitable to do too strenuous exercise in the morning without eating breakfast. Let's go and eat. Okay. King Yu said he was looking forward to eating when he heard about eating. He finally didn't have to eat the special insect nutrition meal. Then King Yu looked at Zayaoshin with anticipation. By the way, what are we going to do after eating? Of course, we are going to find that guy Yu and Dazhi. Zayaoshin reached out and touched King Yu's head. I want to ask him what he thinks. This matter itself has many strange things. According to Yu and Daz's usual performance, he definitely does not care about King Yu at all. After finishing their meal, the two came to Yu and Daz's house and knocked on the door gently. Soon, the voice of the little devil came from inside. Sorry, the master is not convenient to see guests now, so please go back now. The little devil was playing with his nails in the room. He didn't want to know who the person outside was, so he just refused directly. Who are you kidding? He was fine yesterday, and suddenly he had an emergency this morning. Do you really think I'm stupid? King Yu saw that this bastard was still hiding from her, and her dissatisfaction burst out immediately. I don't care what he has to do, he must come out now and explain the cause and effect of the matter clearly. The terrifying momentum burst out from him, and this power was even stronger than the previous God of Truth. Because of the ring of the limit and the fusion of his own blood and ki, his body had remembered the situation of the restriction being lifted, so he broke through the limit in a very short time. Even the soul-devouring monument, who proposed to give a ring of infinity to King Yu, didn't think of this, so this situation occurred. They underestimated King Yu's potential and the degree of dependence of this child on them. Since you refused to come out, I have no choice but to go in and find you. Physical technique, Mountain Blast. Combining demonic power with physical strength, this physical technique finally began to unleash its true power. As the name suggests, even if there is a mountain blocking the way, it can force a path through for you. Meow, the poor door panel was knocked open again, and Zayaoshi, who was licking his paws in the corridor, was so scared that his fur stood up. Then it immediately went into a state of alert. He originally thought that the person who would knock on the door was not an enemy, but now it seems that it thought too simply. King Yu, Chumashin, you to come here to smash the master's door panel. Do you want to start a war with him? Zayaoshi left a few drops of cold sweat on his forehead. Judging from their momentum, he might not be able to withstand even one of them alone. Wouldn't these two people coming together want to kill him? Really? Why do I always encounter this kind of bad luck every time I'm left alone to look after the house? Is it really that my luck has reached the extreme? Although he complained, the power of the surrounding array began to flow into his body, temporarily raising his strength to the level of quasi 4th level, and then he had a little confidence to face them. Even if he can't beat them, he has to go. King Yu, how can you be so impulsive? What if Dazhi is really in trouble now? Chumashin tried to be a peacemaker beside him, but King Yu, who was angry, didn't listen and rushed directly to Zayaoshi to force his way through. A few minutes later, King Yu threw Zayaoshi, who had fainted, aside and pulled Chumashin up with him. After all, those who were only promoted by external forces are always inferior to King Yu and other level 4 warriors who practiced by themselves. Moreover, the mage was approached by the warrior. How could he beat him? Zayaoshin walked to King Yu's side. It's not good for you to do this, right? And do you know where he is now? Of course I know, the only place here that can't be detected is the training room. Kingai walked directly to the training room on the second floor and punched the door, but was blocked by the magic pattern in the room. The magic pattern in this house is the most solid here. If he wants to hide, I believe he will hide here. Then Kingai put his hands on his waist, and the demon power and blood began to gather, intending to use another physical technique to break open the door. Kingai, have you had enough of making trouble? The entity of the soul-devouring monument appeared at the door. You will only cause trouble for us by doing this. The previous move has affected the stability of the magic pattern here. If he doesn't come out, then he will lose the great opportunity to comprehend the law. So these two people must not go in. Chapter 523 Disagreement. Seeing that the soul-devouring monument was finally willing to come out, Kingai calmed down temporarily. Old man, what are you doing here? Do you want to tell me what you didn't finish yesterday? The soul-devouring monument understood Yu and Daz's thoughts, so he naturally wouldn't tell him about his experience, so he could only make up a lie temporarily. With his mind running fast, he quickly thought of a reason that couldn't be refused. So he sighed, with a little sadness in his expression. In fact, Yu and Daz has been confirmed to have an incurable disease. He didn't want you to watch him die, so he drove you out. After breaking through the realm, the old man would take him to wander around the world. At most, he could just change his identity, and this would also be as he wished, completely away from Kingai and Chumushin. Isn't that good? So he has a terminal illness. Then you should have told me earlier. Chumushin was relieved. I can treat cancer. I just need to use my mental power to kill his cancer cells. No, you misunderstood. The old man quickly refused. How could this child's thinking be different from this? How could the incurable disease they were talking about be cancer? He was too eager for success when practicing the exercises and ended up damaging the source of his life. So now he is not far from death from the incurable disease, not the cancer you thought. The two people outside were silent for a while, and then they both walked to the door. Then we have to go in. Can't we see him for the last time? The old man panicked instantly. The man inside is breaking through the realm now. How can you go in and disturb him? Interrupting the perception of the law is still a small matter. If something goes wrong with him, he will really be not far from death. He just said that Yu and Dazi had a problem when practicing the exercises, and now he tells them that this guy is breaking through the realm. Doesn't that mean he is lying? No, you can't go in now. This is Yu and Daz's own idea. The two were very determined. No, if we don't see him when he leaves, we absolutely can't stand it. The old man no longer cared about his old face, and his mind was working quickly. You two, have you heard about what cats do before they die? The two of them were stunned for a moment, and they didn't expect the old man to ask this question. After a few seconds of stunned, they both looked at the spirit of the soul-devouring monument, and motioned him to continue. Some cats will leave their owners before they die, find a quiet place, and quietly wait for their own death. Do you know why? Because cats want to leave their best side to their owners, so they don't want their owners to see how they die. At this point, the old man was a little helpless. In fact, the child is the same. He also wants to leave his best side to you, and doesn't want you to see his embarrassment when he dies. If you can't even satisfy his little wish, can you still be considered his friends? Wen and the two stood at the door in silence. They didn't know how to answer this question. From a rational point of view, they should indeed respect his opinion and let him die quietly alone. But they really couldn't tolerate not being able to see him for the last time. After all, he was their best friend. As for the possibility of being deceived, they haven't thought about it yet, because they don't think the old man would joke about people's lives. Seeing that they were no longer taking action, the soul-devouring monument nodded. Anyway, he just had to delay the time, and there would be plenty of ways to make up for it later. And Dekisugi's situation was not much better. He even attributed the reason why Yu and Dazi left their house to this point. I'm sorry, we will follow his advice. I hope we don't disturb him. With that, Xiaoshin pulled Kingai up and prepared to leave the house. The old man watched them come to the stairs. He was so happy in his heart. In this way, he could achieve his goal without bloodshed. But just when the task was about to be completed, a purple head suddenly popped out from below and shouted, "Don't even think about going in. I will never let you disturb the master from reading." The two stopped, and then King Gayu grabbed its neck. "What did you say just now? What is that bastard doing? Reading? Forget it. Don't bother with him. He is just following orders." Chumushin stepped forward to rescue Zyrozy from King Gayu's hands, saving his life. Then the two looked at the soul-devouring monument next to them. "The guy over there is the most hateful person, deceiving our feelings." Where they couldn't see, Zyrozy gave the old man a thumbs up, indicating that the rest of the things were left to him. He didn't want King Gayu to leave. It was not easy to have a little sense of home. If King Gayu left, how would he live in the future? It was boring to stay at home alone. "Arsehole, what nonsense are you talking about here?" The soul-devouring monument said that he even felt like strangling Zyrozy to death. This bastard was useless and only ruined his good things. Finally, he could only tell the truth. "Okay, listen to me. He is not reading a book now, but actually breaking through the realm, so you'd better not disturb him. You are full of nonsense. I don't believe anything you say now." Not to mention King Gayu, even Chumushin was a little annoyed by being deceived like this. Since he has been exposed, he can only use force to stop them outside. This door can't withstand the siege of the two of them. "You old man, show me your moves." King Gayu immediately rushed to the soul-devouring monument. He had long disliked this old man. If it was Yu and Dazi in front of him, he might still consider it, because he remembered that he had always been good to him, unlike this old man who oppressed him. Humph, naive. The soul-devouring monument disdained his attack. "Don't forget, all the skills you know are taught by me." A not so strong soul force hit his Tanzhong, directly disrupting the operation of the demonic power. King Gayu's body suddenly tilted and instantly lost the momentum to move forward. Then another whip transformed from spiritual power hit him, and King Gayu, who had lost his momentum, was whipped away without any resistance. "Hey, are you okay?" Chumushin quickly used his spiritual power to catch King Gayu to prevent him from flying downstairs. "Damn, it hurts." King Gayu stood up again, and the acupuncture points that were hit by the soul power just now were still aching. Although the first attack was not strong, it hit the weak point. If the soul-devouring monument wanted to kill him, the first attack just now might have seriously injured him. Kill in thunder method, earth thunder. King Gayu punched the ground, and the demonic power in his body surged, turning into lightning and rushing out of the floor. The old man was also not calm. "You guys are going to cause trouble, right? Deliberately make such a big noise." A will was injected into the floor, and this area suddenly became extremely hard, and the violent lightning could no longer move forward. "Don't think about it. Even if you join forces, you have no chance of winning in my territory." The old man still stood at the door, not moving a step. But with King Gayu's personality, it was not so easy to admit defeat to the old man, so he raised his right hand again. "Kill in thunder method, thunder wheel." The lightning wheel flew out of his hand, bounced with the help of the wall, leaving a series of burnt lines on the surrounding walls, which made the old man very distressed. "You little bastard, you actually destroyed the arrangement here. Wait and see how I will deal with you later." He quickly released part of his mental power and dispersed the thunder wheel. But at this moment, a shadow flashed by him. "Old man, you are really old." Physical technique, meteor impact. King Gayu's whole person turned into a light path and rushed straight to the door of the training room. TSK, a trifle. Ling Feng wanted to stop him, but at this moment he suddenly withdrew his power with a strange look on his face, and now it was no longer necessary. When King Gayu was about to hit the door panel was suddenly kicked open from the inside by someone first, and it hit King Gayu directly. Chapter 524 Solution. Yu and Dazi slowly walked out of the room with an extremely unhappy expression on his face. Just now, his perception was interrupted at the most critical moment. Damn it, there was only a little bit left just now. I had clearly found the common point between the stars and the sun. Who did it? I must kill him today. He has sublimated the law of the sky into the law of space, and the past and the future have also successfully merged into the law of time. There is only one left. But after walking out of the door, he saw Zyrozy, who was knocked unconscious again, and Zyroshan, who was watching him outside. He felt a little confused about the current situation. What's going on? There are traces of fighting here. Could it be that you, Chumu-shan, are the only one causing trouble? This behavior is not in line with your usual calm style. Zio-shan shook his head and pointed to his feet, indicating that there was another person being pressed down there. He quickly moved his feet away, and King Yu lifted the door panel with force, covered his nose and stood up. The kick just now was not light. Why is it you, kid? Didn't you say before that you wouldn't come back? Why are you here again? Yu and as he felt that this situation was even more uncomfortable. Now it seemed that King Yu was very likely to come to him on purpose. If he was entangled by him, the trouble he brought would definitely be greater than the trouble caused by Chumushan. Because I want to know the reason. Why did you choose to abandon me? You clearly promised my father. Speaking of this, Yu and as he said that he felt a little guilty. He did promise Lanshu to take care of him before. So what? Didn't you ask to leave? I didn't force you to leave. Besides, isn't it good for you to live in Chumushan's house? I saw that you cooperated well with him just now. Chumushan shook his head repeatedly. No, my mother will not agree to this. Don't forget that she was a little unhappy when you came in before, not to mention finding another child. Yu and as he spread his hands helplessly. Just when he was about to refuse, the soul-devouring monument suddenly received a message and raised his hand to stop him. You should not force him to move out. Just now I learned something. There are some props in this world that contain the will of the world. These things can make the holder be favored by the world. Then I will refine a magic weapon through a special method to let the world's luck protect him. As long as he is still in this world, even if the sun god comes in person, he can't tell his identity. This message was sent by the flame servant just now, and it was also the latest research result obtained by the sun god from the Elder Scrolls. As for why the flame servant knew about this, it was mainly because the sun god needed him to help collect these things, which would be useful when controlling the world. Of course, he would not tell Yu and Dazi about this insider for the time being. After all, this was his biggest trump card, and it must not be easily disclosed. Yu and Dazi nodded. Okay, Chumushan, you go back first. I want to talk to him alone now. Okay, I'll leave first. Xiaoshan stood there without staying for too long, turned around and left. You two can have a good talk. Yu and Dazi reached out and picked up King Gaiu, who was still on the ground, and at the same time activated the time magic to restore the house. The two came all the way to the living room below. Yu and Dazi put King Gaiu next to him and sat at the table. Seeing him so serious, King Gaiu couldn't help but sit up straight and suddenly felt nervous facing a parent. Before, we decided to send you away, mainly because of the enemy of the demon clan, the gods. Now the gods have revived, and I'm the focus of their attention, so we will find a way to send you away from here. King Gaiu nodded as if she understood. He seemed to have the power of the true god. If there are still many such enemies, it will be a disaster for them. Then he looked at Yu and Dazi with anticipation. If what you said is true, you still care about me? That's great. Yu and Dazi nodded helplessly. He actually liked this kid very much, if this guy hadn't just disturbed him from comprehending the laws. Okay, I've made things clear to you. Do you want to go or stay? Make a choice quickly. After making it clear, King Gaiu didn't hesitate at all. Of course I will stay. Didn't I make it very clear when I faced Easton? Although your answer is a bit puzzling, it is also expected. The current magic circle also needs to be upgraded. At least it should prevent ordinary gods from directly spying on the situation in the house. In this way, the safety of several of us will be guaranteed to a certain extent. Then Yu and Dazi stood up, but these are not what we have to do now. The most urgent thing is. What is the most urgent thing? How can I help? The most urgent thing, of course, is to beat you up first, bastard. Do you know how precious an opportunity you made me lose just now? He remembered clearly the grudge that was broken by him before. He would never feel comfortable if he didn't take revenge. And as he immediately grabbed King Gaiu. This time he would never let this bastard go. Even if Jesus came today, he couldn't save him. He said it. Wait, brother, what are you trying to do? By the time King Gaiu realized what was happening, it was too late. His screams echoed throughout the house for more than an hour. He spent the rest of the afternoon upgrading the magic patterns in his room to improve the safety of the room, at least to prevent King Gayu from destroying it at will. After reading a bunch of books on how to educate naughty children, the old man secretly vowed to put King Gayu's moral education on the agenda. On Monday morning, and as he opened his eyes and looked at the calendar, oh, today is 520? It's really an unpleasant holiday. He changed into his usual clothes and continued to talk to himself. Forget it. Foreigners don't celebrate this holiday anyway, so I don't need to bother myself. Then he walked to King Gayu's room next door. King Gayu was still lying on the bed and couldn't get up for a while. Yesterday afternoon, and as he didn't hold back at all. He barely suppressed him with a level 3 spell and then beat him up. I'm going to school first. You stay at home and don't come out to smash things. Got it? Will you talk about this problem after I can get out of bed? King Gayu turned her head away, indicating that she didn't want to talk to him. TSK, you dare to argue with me? He pinched King Gayu's face hard. Amid his screams, and as he went out happily. After arriving at school, and as he also began to pay attention to whether there were things with the will of the world nearby. Since breaking through the realm, he can see some unusual places in this world, such as some holes in the sky, which are caused by the omissions of the laws. Similarly, because his soul is no longer limited to this world, from the perspective of a transcendent, he can naturally find the gathering of the will of the world. Under normal circumstances, this town is the center of the event, so there should be a lot of things containing the will. But along the way, he didn't find a small thing that was useful to them, which made him a little disappointed. When he came to the classroom, and as he found something that surprised him very much, Nobita was already here. Oh my god, am I in trouble today? Nobita actually came earlier than me? He was so shocked that he even blurted out his Sichuan dialect, which shows how much of a psychological impact Nobita's behavior had on him. At this time, Nobita was completely unaware of his arrival and was still reviewing math hard in order to get good grades in the upcoming exams. And as he also slowly returned to his seat and began to soothe his hurt heart. When the others saw Nobita, they were almost the same as and as he. Soon, the teacher also walked into the classroom with a stack of papers. Students, we have an exam today. Chapter 525, The Bond Between Nobita and Shizuka. Nobita took the test paper with excitement. He had been reviewing math madly during this period and achieved very good results. Therefore, he was very confident about this exam. As long as he got a good score, he could make Shizuka look at him with new eyes. But when he took the test paper and took a first look, he was petrified and suffered a huge blow. The teacher handed the last test paper to and as he returned to the podium with satisfaction and cleared his throat. Students, the questions in this exam may be difficult, but as long as everyone reviews carefully, there will be no big problem. Okay, the exam begins. And as he picked up the test paper in his hand and said disdainfully, what? Such a simple Japanese test. Now he has a super memory. These Japanese poems and grammar are no longer challenging for him. He picked up the pen and wrote on the paper. Nobita, who was sitting in the front row, picked up the pen tremblingly. He reviewed the math questions for a weekend, and you told me that there will be a Japanese test today. Is this going to be fun? After the test, the resentment around Nobita had materialized. I'm so stupid that I even got the test subjects wrong. Then what's the point of me living in this world? He then laid down on the table. Since I'm so stupid, how can I make Shizuka happy in the future? It's better for someone like me to leave her. And Daisy had no idea of his psychological activities, but felt a little strange seeing him like this. Why is Nobita so negative? With how hard he studied, even if he failed, he shouldn't be like this, right? Soon it was time to hand out the papers in the afternoon, and everyone looked at the teacher nervously, because this time it would determine whether they would have an easy time when they return. The teacher put the corrected test paper on the podium. The results of this exam are out, and overall it's pretty good. Now I'm going to hand out the test papers. Kosuke, you still got 100 points, very good. Keep working hard next time. Kosuke walked up to thank her and took the test paper. Then the teacher continued. Kirisuka got 100 points. You made great progress in this exam. I'm very happy, teacher. Keep up the good work." The teacher smiled and handed the test paper to Kirisuka. He was very happy because he finally caught up with those two bastards. The test paper was soon handed out to the last person. "Nobita, this exam is not very ideal. Is it because you didn't review before?" Nobita walked up with his head down, took his test paper without saying a word, and then sat in his seat. This time the teacher took care of his emotions and didn't read out the results, which was considered to save his last point of face, but everyone had already guessed his score. "Okay, this exam is over. Students who have made progress should not be proud, and those who have done poorly should not be discouraged. Now let's start explaining the test paper." The teacher picked up his test paper and began to analyze the difficulty of the questions, but Nobita couldn't listen to a word, which really hurt him. In extreme sadness, Nobita finally made such a decision. He would leave Shizuka and make her hate him so that she could be happy. After school, Nobita immediately rushed back to his home to find the blue fat man. "Doraemon, do you have any props that can make people hate me?" Doraemon was scared by him, of course, but what do you want that for? "That's not a good thing. I'll explain the reason to you later. Now give me the prop you mentioned." The blue fat man reluctantly took out the prop from his pocket and handed it to him. "This thing is a hate potion. Just drink a sip and people will hate you. But remember not to drink too much." As soon as the voice fell, Doraemon found that Nobita had drunk all the hate potions in his props. "What are you doing? You only need to drink one sip of this item. If you drink so much, even mosquitoes won't stay around you for half a second." After saying that, an indescribable feeling of disgust appeared in Doraemon's heart, making him feel nauseous. "No, I really drank too much. Sorry, I have to stay away from you." Then he ran out of the room. It was so disgusting that it almost killed him. Seeing that even his good friend Doraemon had left, Nobita didn't feel sad at all, but smiled happily. "That's great. If even Doraemon can't stand it, Shizuka will definitely stay away from me, so that she will be happy." Then Nobita felt a little nauseous. "No, the drug is too strong. Even I can't stand myself." After finally coming downstairs, he still felt the ominous power above constantly spreading downwards, making him feel unwell. At this time, Doraemon was frantically searching his pockets below. "No, the effect of the hate potion will last for a long time, and it must be removed quickly. Otherwise, this house will be uninhabitable." Soon, he took out a bottle of pink potion. "Like potion, just drink this to neutralize the hate potion." The blue fat man immediately rushed to the second floor, but when he reached the stairs, he saw a thick black fog, which was a disgusting emotion that had already materialized. Just after entering the range of the black fog, Doraemon could no longer move forward half a step because it was too disgusting. Not to mention going over to give him the potion. As long as he thought of the name Nobita, he would feel as disgusting as eating a piece of moldy dorayaki stuffed in a smelly sock in the summer. "No, even I can't get close. Is Nobita's fate really over?" When Doraemon was already desperate, there was a knock on the door outside. He was as if he had been pardoned. He immediately left the range of the black fog and rushed downstairs to open the door for the people outside. At this time, Shizuka was standing outside the door, holding a pink cloth bag in her hand, which was full of tutoring materials. "It's Doraemon, where's Nobita? I saw that he was not in a good state after the exam today, so I planned to come over to tutor him." Shizuka stood at the door and looked at Doraemon with a smile, then picked up her bag and walked into the house. "Wait a minute, Shizuka." Doraemon stopped her. "You can't get close to him. Nobita now will only make everyone feel disgusted." Shizuka was stunned for a moment. "Doraemon, what are you talking about? Is Nobita so annoying? Are you kidding? Although Nobita is indeed a little stupid and lazy, isn't he slowly getting better? Why is it so unbearable?" And Nobita's performance today surprised her a little. Usually, Nobita would not care too much if he got 0 points in the exam. He was just worried that he would be scolded by his mother when he went back. But now Nobita is worried about his grades, which shows that he has the idea of improvement. So Shizuka decided to help him. Thinking of this, Shizuka smiled and said to Doraemon, "It's okay. I won't hate Nobita, and I believe he won't hate me either. So don't worry about us." Then Shizuka walked up the stairs slowly, and suddenly a disgusting feeling came from inside her body, as if there was a big man who didn't take a bath all year round. Shizuka finally understood what Doraemon meant, but she still had no idea of backing off. If Nobita is really hated by everyone now, then now is definitely the time when he needs care the most. So she must not back down. Then Shizuka moved step by step to Nobita's position, and even Doraemon below was ashamed of her perseverance. As he approached, the nauseating negative energy near Nobita seemed to be suppressed by something, and actually took the initiative to avoid Shizuka's presence. Great, this is a good opportunity. Doraemon hurriedly followed, and when he walked into the room, he saw Shizuka holding Nobita. She held Nobita to her chest with both hands and said softly, "Nobita, don't immerse yourself in the darkness anymore. There is still a long way to go in the future." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.